Um,
It's it's because like the whole like like a lot of things that we do is just because of our mind like processing things that way, and so it's so natural to us, right? Like like sight, right? Like we always imagine someone who can't see, someone who's blind, sees black or darkness, but like that's not true.
they see light and color,
They see nothing. Yeah. Well,
right?
no, they see nothing.
No, 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 no. Some people have light penetration, unless you're
Some
like
people,
100% blind.
yeah, 100% blind people don't see nothing.
Oh yeah, there. But that's like a really small percent of.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny. I didn't realize how small of a percent of blind people are like that blind.
totally blind. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is it? Hmm.
What?
I wonder if that is people who are born blind or in general. Because I know it's very, very, very small for people to be born 100% blind.
No, I think it's like there's a small percent that like of blind people in general who are like 100% blind. Like most of them have some
Mm,
level of light penetration, I'm pretty sure.
mm.
Is this where I'm supposed to? Oh yeah, okay, I think this is it.
But it's like you can't even like imagine what they see
Yeah.
because like they don't see nothing and we don't know how to do that. It's so weird. But they got like echolocation. That's dope. It's basically a superpower.
What, to be blind? Sorry, I was
No,
typing something.
no.
What?
I'm talking about echolocation.
Oh, okay, sorry. I missed a chunk of that and I was like, wait.
No, I'm not Kanye saying a disability is a superpower.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I love there's this one girl in my education class right now and she's really funny. But she's got like a mobility disability and I don't know exactly what she has, but she has like a cane and stuff like she struggles.
Hmm.
But she always jokes. She's like, can I say how much? And she's like, just say disabled. I hate when people try to give us something like what the fuck is this special ability shit? She's like, don't call me specially abled. And I was like, it was
Hmm.
like going on a rant. I loved it. She's really funny.
Superpower.
I think this is where I'm supposed to post it. I have like these other Twitch streamer friends I've made, and they have like a big Discord, and they're always like, "Oh, you can shout yourself out." There's like a whole channel to like streamers to promote themselves, and I'm like, I think that's this channel. I'm always like taking a wild guess in the dark to make sure I'm in the right place.
Hmm.
They're really nice though. I was on their stream. Oh, I think you watched that stream. I was on their stream the other night. Their
With the
stream. Oh, I think you watched that stream.
psychologist assist.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Those guys. They're super cool. What was I
Yeah.
doing? What was I doing? I was doing something. What was I doing?
Telling them that you're live.
Oh no, music. Okay, I got my live things out. Okay, we need my DMCA free.
Looking for royalty-free music?
Someone save my life tonight.
All right, let me
Sugar
open.
bear.
Let me move my Discord over here. I always have to have everything set up on one screen, man. Let's open
I
some
have a
brawl.
room.
I'm launching. Let's go. Launch. Launch it. Oh god, it's doing the thing again. Oh no, it's okay. It's updating. It's updating.
I
It'll take
imagine
10
that's the
seconds.
same dialogue they had when they first launched Sputnik.
Yeah. That's what it
Hmm.
is.
Have you watched more Stranger Things?
I have watched the first 2 episodes now.
What are your thoughts on the second episode? If you already
I
watched spoilers.
am very intrigued so far. I actually am really excited for the season now. After the first
It's a
two,
pretty. I'm on the last episode. It's pretty good so far.
yeah, I'm super. You know what? Something I noticed I really really love about Stranger Things is
Hmm.
I like the way they set up every season with the D&D game and like how it kind of like foreshadows what your new villain is gonna be or like how the villain is
Yeah.
evolved, right? Like it's all the
Well,
same villain
for
throughout the.
whatever they think about it, they base it all off of the D&D game.
Yeah, which is really cool. I like the way they do that. I think it's really
Yeah.
interesting. I feel like some people I maybe not. I feel like I remember seeing like one person, but I don't think it's like a very broad opinion. I've seen like one person like say that they're like, oh, it's like it feels like the D&D like someone complained about that like slightly, but I was like, I feel like it's a really cool thing to like foreshadow each season with like the D&D game because it's so like integrated into the show overall. I thought it was like I actually really like that aspect.
Yeah, but they also don't show a lot. Like, it's foreshadowing in the way of whatever important information that like they're showing you that you know off the bat is like you learn in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Anything else you don't really know until it happens.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they're spoiling you. It's not like you can see the first like episode and be like, oh, so this is what's gonna happen this season and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's just foreshadowing about like what your villain is going to be. Okay, this is how I have to play, I guess. You know, not much I can contribute to today's topic, but it does seem like left-wing Twitch is more preoccupied with drama and watching each other's. No, it's not even that. That's not even my issue with like left-wing Twitch or even left-wing advocacy. It's not even just Twitch. Left-wing advocacy in general has gotten so like. You know when it feels like you're moving on to points that you haven't even reached yet. Like there's like political issues we're fighting for that don't make sense to be fighting for right now because it's like we haven't even reached like let's say you have a 10-step plan to get to like your peak society. You're like on step 1 and you're trying to get most of society on board with step 1 and you haven't gotten everyone on board with step 1 and you're already trying to move to like step 3 or 4. That's what it feels like political advocacy.
Wait, hold up, I'm gonna make a new game because it's just us two would do ranked.
Oh, okay. That's what it feels like with so much of like left-wing politics and like advocacy is right now, which is super annoying because it's like you're never gonna progress anything in that way. And like I'm someone who like genuinely wants progress in our society, and yet like I feel like no one's wanting to actually get progress. Everyone just wants to like virtue signal for like the best points of being like, look how, you know, look how much I like care, look how progressive I am.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
I still don't know what the left is.
Okay, left is like, do you know what progressive and conservative are?
You can tell me, I'm not gonna know.
I will tell you right now, you'd be considered left, right? So like your left is typically made up of like progressives. Typically, in like a North American sense, you have like the left, like Democrats and like liberals are like somewhat left, like they're center left, and like leftists are like people who are really progressive. So like you fight for civil rights issues, you know, minority issues, all this type of stuff. You care, like you want open immigration, you want like social safety nets, like all this type of stuff. Whereas like conservatives are typically for like pro-traditional families, economic conservatism, probably like less open borders, a little bit more protectionist, like these type of things. You know, like someone from the South, like their values. Probably minus the racism. Oh wait, that's a bad character choice for this. We'll go with this one.
All I know is, from all the Kanye West I listen to, white people are Republicans.
Yeah, is that what he's told?
Yeah.
Is he Republican?
Maybe not, but back in the day when he was doing Watch Stone with Jay-Z, he had a song about like the future kids and stuff, and he's like talking about how he doesn't want his son to be like him because like, you know, he's like arrogant and people don't like him, and he's like, I might even make him be Republican so everybody knows he likes white people. And so now I've always just thought that Republicans are white people.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't get all my like political stuff from Kanye, but you know.
I mean, probably not. He's probably not your best person for, especially not nowadays. I mean, maybe back in the day he was a bit of a better maybe.
Yeah, when he was like talking about like George Bush don't care about bad people. Yeah.
That was probably a pretty good take. I will give him solid, but like.
I just love how like John Myers just like looking at him, like what the fuck are you talking about? It's a great clip. Oh, I forgot to play this game.
Oh, I almost just jumped off.
Come on, save my life tonight, sugar baby. Do you know what whatnot is, Sabrina?
Like the term whatnot?
No, like the platform / like app.
No.
So whatnot is like a marketplace type deal. So think of it like you know, like a Facebook marketplace and like where you can sell stuff.
Okay.
But It's like a live. It's like it's a live auction, online
Oh,
auction.
okay. So
Basically.
kind of like Second Turn.
Yeah. So like people will sell like collectibles and stuff like that, like anything from sneakers to like comic books, Funko,
Yeah.
card games and stuff like that. And they'll just do an auction live stream and people bid on it and buy stuff.
Interesting.
And they've been really popular and they finally opened up Canada so people can start selling from Canada.
Yeah.
I never used it because it was all in the US and I just didn't want to pay shipping from the US.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that it's in Canada, I'm like, oh, okay, well, shipping's a little bit more reasonable, so I started buying today. And it's just...
Oh, no. A new addiction?
Auctions are so stupid, because it's like, you'll buy something, but you don't have it, so you don't know you bought it, and you don't know how much money you actually spent. So you keep spending money. And I just kept spending money, and I was like, oh, wait, but, like, I gotta, like, add up all of this and see how much I'm actually spending.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a lot, and I was just like, ooh, I can't keep doing this. Because I got really good deals.
Yeah,
but
bidding.
I also spent...
This is what happened with the Second Turn site at work, is, like, as soon as everyone got onto it, like, we were all, like, bidding on shit, like, constantly. And it was so bad, because, like, when you're bidding, it doesn't feel as bad as buying. Because you're not, it's not, like, an instant thing, and also, like, it's also, like, you feel like you're paying less, so you don't worry about it as much, but then you buy, like, a bunch of things for less, and now you're spending, like, $1,000, and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. Well, also here, I would like look at the price and be like, okay, this is reasonable, and this is. I'm like, oh, I'm getting really good deals. But then I have to take in shipping, which is in your face, right? So you never really notice. And then it's in American dollars, and that fucks you over too. Because then I got like another 30% on everything.
Indeed.
So it's like I'm spending like $1 or $2 on a book and stuff, but then it's like there's another $1 for shipping and another 30 cents.
Did you die?
Yeah.
Bitch!
You got a life, you're good. Just don't get hit.
Thank you. Very helpful.
But yeah, day one and whatnot, spent $70. Not happy with myself. Actually, I am happy for myself because I got some really good books. And if need be, I could sell like 2 of them and make my money back, but yeah. Lesson for today. Don't buy on stuff online.
Oh no, he still has another. Oh my god, they both have 2 lives. Fuck. There's no shot I'm getting out of this. No shot. No! Oh my god, bro. Why'd you have to go at it? Oh my god, I don't even have a weapon. What am I doing?
Your viewer says everyone's got to stream at the exact same time.
Ooh, I've got a friend going through a tough time self-report. Oh, yeah, no worries. I realized that was a little while ago. Oh god. I cannot play and breathe. Why do gaming and streaming at the same time when I'm like talking about stuff? I don't know, but it's more fun that way.
If doing 2 things at once was hard, just try 3.
You know what? That's a good tip. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna start jacking off right now.
What? You're on stream.
My lid wasn't on right.
Oh.
Oh my god, I just had so much water go down my fucking shirt!
Oh gosh, he's already wet.
Oh, fuck off. It was so cold. I'm wearing shorts.
You did it to yourself.
Bro, that was foreshadowing in its like highest degree. Okay, well, let's put that on better. There we go.
Get yourself together, Sabrina.
Awful. Awful. Okay, let's try that again. Alright. Who should I go with? Maybe we'll try...
Someone said...
Let's do this.
What was
I feel like that's a good support character.
Oh, I got Terrence just falling down. As we play, I will be watching the Anthony Bourdain documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I start crying, don't worry about it.
Aw. Was he the guy who did the traveling like news reports? Yeah, he was cool.
And then, yeah.
I think I watched. When did the documentary come out?
Last year. I don't know if they
Okay.
consider it a documentary.
It was just
'Cause
like
I've
a
never,
life. Wasn't it like a life
yeah,
synopsis? Yeah. Okay, I watched part of it last year, I think then.
because I've never seen it
But my
actually
parents were big fans of him.
advertised as a documentary for the most part. But yeah,
Yeah. My parents were big fans of his stuff, so I like remember when they watched that. They were really sad that he passed.
I used to watch him before kindergarten.
Aw.
It probably wasn't the best thing to be watching because he's a very vocal person, but you know,
But it's fun. He was a cool dude.
yeah,
He did cool
yeah,
segments. I like this stuff. I think everyone liked this stuff.
yeah.
Ah. Oh, that was close. Oh my god, that was close. No, I fucked up. Oh, he fucked up. That's okay. How do you feel about that singer guy, the Punjabi singer guy who passed away? I had a feeling you would also have mixed reactions on this.
My only mixed reaction is kind of the whole media part of it.
Oh wait, why?
So the media is painting it as being gang related, right?
Yeah. Was it not?
What?
Was it not? Oh my. God.
Not really, and yes. So it's like you can't really say if it's gang related or not, right? Depending on who you talk to, will be different. Like his family's trying to say is like he's not gang related. The thing about it is
Your
that
family's never gonna say it's gang related. People die in Surrey or like, yeah.
yeah,
and, like,
but the thing about so he wasn't just like he was kind of an activist too, right? He did a lot of activism in Punjab and all that stuff. So you know he already has enemies because of that, and then he has all the gang stuff and stuff like that. Even if it wasn't gang related or whatnot, he did talk a lot about that in his music.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing that my dad was pointing out, which was just like he never liked how that was a big point
he
of
flaunted
his
his
music.
guns and shit a lot.
Yeah, because he's like that ultimately will just come back to you, which it ended up doing. And then it's just a lot of political BS too, because about like his whole security thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
but that was because he was like not a politician anymore, right? So he lost 2 of them.
Well, it's not that he's not a politician anymore. It's just the government there is basically pulling back on security. So like a lot of people lost their security.
Yeah, but that was like I read into this. What the politicians there said, like the guy who's in charge, who actually seems pretty good. What he basically said is like, hey, if you haven't been in like office, like if you're out of office now, then you're not getting security, like you're not getting government paying for your stuff, right? Which was fair enough. He still had 2 personal bodyguards. He just lost the 2 that were government funded.
Right.
From what I know.
But the thing about it is if that was your whole point of just like, yeah, because they're not, very important to the government right now, we don't need to give them security, that's fine. You don't have to make it public like that. That was the issue, is that they made it so public and they say, oh, these are the people who don't have that security now.
Yeah,
so
they probably shouldn't.
It makes them a top. It makes them a target.
I guess.
So,
they probably shouldn't release names, but you'd have to release that as like public.
The day after they take away that security, people go to attack him.
Yeah.
Right? It's like they knew he doesn't have that security anymore, so they knew he's more valuable.
Did they release names of the people who lost security, or did they just say like this is the new policy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody knew. People knew.
Okay. Then I would like disagree. I would disagree with them releasing names if they did that, but I would like if you put out a policy, then you'd have to make that public information. But if they release like an actual name of like these are the people who lost security, then I like understand people being upset.
Yeah. And then, but also
he's
him
also
being
kind of
a high-profile public figure, I would say like, okay, you can't just like you shouldn't just probably take his security away right off the bat. Like there should be some gradual time for that.
But again, this guy had lots of money. He had he had private security too, and also people pointed out like, obviously not blaming him for his own death, but like you had private security and a bulletproof car, and you took neither of those out.
But like, if that had happened in America, I would understand it. But within how Indian politics is and everything, from my point of view, this is my point of view. Government security is a lot more than any security you can privately hire, because government security, that's fucking with the government.
I mean, I guess, but like,
so it's more of like, yo, you don't want to fuck with that.
Even
right?
so,
it's the same thing as like you don't want to fuck with the police. Hold on, but
it wouldn't have mattered because like he didn't leave with either of his security or like his like bulletproof car. Like he had like other things that he could have used. that could have like kept him
Wait,
safer.
was the car not bulletproof?
No, that's why the
Because
bullets
I've
went
heard
through.
two. Okay.
He had a
'Cause I've heard
bulletproof
two.
car, and he left that one at home, and he took the one that
Yeah.
was like he took ones that weren't bulletproof, and he like didn't tell security he was going out. He left without them, like. You already know that there's like a potential target on your back. Then you lose security. You know people are like out for you, and you flaunt guns in your music constantly. Like,
Well, he doesn't flaunt guns. He doesn't like. He talks about stuff like that.
No,
but he doesn't,
have you seen his music videos? I watched like 3 of his music videos. He definitely flaunts guns in his.
He does, but it's not like it's not to the like. It's like the, I have the same take with him flaunting guns as like I think, like American rappers and stuff like that too. Like
I don't like any of it.
There's like a it's hard to like make the case for, but like there is like artistic freedom and everything to that. So I'm like, because some people were like, oh, he deserved, he flaunted all this stuff. I'm like, no,
I don't say
like,
he deserved it, but I'm saying like.
But
you're
like,
gonna,
that does
if you
come
do
with the
things
territory.
that put you in a more vulnerable position, you have to be ready to like take the responsibility with that, right? Like
that does come with the territory.
Yeah.
I believe them. Like I personally believe that none of that his music had an influence on them going to kill him or not.
I don't know if that's true. Did any other politicians get attacked that day?
No, but it's different. It's different with the politician and then him, who's like a celebrity, who is a name, who is a public, right? And then possibly gang ties, right? So my thing is either gang ties or it was just because of the whole security thing being brought out that he doesn't have his security now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the music really has like very little, if anything, to do with it. It's very. I don't listen to music like that too, but like I was like, damn, that sucks.
I mean, it sucks. It's sad when anyone dies, but I think like people are like.
But like even just like the impact he had, because he does have good impact, right? With just like showing, because like people, I mean, I don't like this comparison, but people always compare him to be like, that's like India's Tupac or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is a lot in his music about hope and shit like that, and just like giving people like that, like, you know, feeling about it might be okay.
I don't know.
And he said something like that.
Because like my thing is like no one's really shocked. It's gonna sound shitty to say, but less people are shocked when like rappers get shot when like they're in gangs and like flaunt gun culture in their videos. And I'm like, if you're gonna call like conservatives for flaunting gun culture within like conservative like things and being like, this is like why we have like school shooters and stuff, then you have to say that like it's the same thing with like artists who like flaunt guns and then like have people around them like have do shit like that, right? It's like I would expect you to take a little bit of responsibility for like the culture that you also help create. Oh shit.
I personally don't agree with that.
Why?
I can see where people, because
but then would you blame
separate
conservatives for like creating gun culture like within that group too, or just like give them a pass as well?
Give me an example of like how they're creating gun culture. Conservatives, I mean, like just preaching for gun rights and stuff.
Yeah, like not even preaching for gun rights, but like I don't know, like NRA type stuff. God damn it. Like advocating for like less gun control rights, or like even like introducing their kids to guns, or like people to guns.
Right.
Oh fuck. I'm sorry. I was trying to play and explain.
No, it's fine.
I don't know, just encouraging like the use of guns and like owning firearms and like stuff like that, like amongst the population, and then like you have like, you know, gun accidents within like those groups.
Right. With that, I wouldn't like necessarily say that alone is something that contributes to like the negative gun culture that America has. Mm-hmm. It can, right? But I don't look at someone who teaches their kid real young how to shoot a gun and stuff like that. I don't feel like that necessarily like has an effect on you know, the shootings and everything that's going to happen. Same thing with like music and stuff. But with music and stuff, I'm like, yeah, there might be, you can link like a small portion of the music comes out to stuff like that, right? But for the most part, I always chalk it up to being art. And it's like the same way as like we don't
art's one of our like most influential like mediums in society, right? Like you can't deny that. Like you can say it's just art, but most people are like heavily influenced by like the media they like take in, whether that be music, whether that be Hollywood, whatever it is. We're like
right,
heavily
but
influenced by
it's
that.
like, but then it's like it's such a, to me it was always such a scapegoat to blame the music and movies and video games. You see it all the time. it's like for all the people that do consume that, how many people were actually influenced by that? I
Do
don't know
you,
many people
okay,
that are actually influenced by
in
that.
that case,
So for me, it's personally like you want to place blame on those things when those things could influence a kid, but like at the end of the day, it's up to the parents to really teach a kid how to like, you know, take in the stuff and like if you just show a kid, you know, crime movies and shit, right, without
yeah.
explaining to them when they were young of like, oh, this is fiction or whatever, or this or that, like
Yeah.
kind of explain to them the nature of that, then you know they might grow up think that's cool or not. But like it's up to the parents to like have that discussion with the kids.
I also agree with that, but I would also say like I wouldn't, because I don't place blame on like artists or
Michelle,
like
join.
media or anything like that to like as like culpable for these things happening. Like I wouldn't blame like 100%, but like I would say you probably like contribute to the culture that exists around them to some extent, and I'd be comfortable saying that.
Maybe, but in my like, like I can when people talk about like rap music and they talk about that, I'm always like, ooh, you really haven't listened to rap music that much yet, because like it's like, yeah, a lot of it may talk about crime and guns and everything, but a lot of like, uh, uh, actually okay, that nowadays is a little different, but back when this was a big talking about, I'm like, oh, rap music is like killing America. This is blah blah blah. A lot of the music that was coming out of that time wasn't really pro gun or pro this or pro that. It's more of just like telling personal experiences and like what the outcome could be from that. So
Yeah,
if
I
you
agree. I
listen to
don't think it's like all rappers or like rap in general that's doing it, but there is like
I'll
some,
say I'd say most rappers aren't doing it like that,
probably not, especially I don't
right?
think anymore.
No,
Um,
well now it's different because now you have anybody can be a rapper, and you have rappers like 6ix9ine who do like portray
oh,
stuff like that,
100%.
right? Now is like not like
But I would
until
hold people
recently
like that like
I've never been like that's a fair argument until like recently I'm like, okay, now you can, there are people out there that you can be like, this is nothing but a negative influence within their
yeah,
communities or
100%,
anything like that.
100%.
Like six
And I
nine
would
is
agree
like
with that.
just a negative influence, right?
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I don't think like there's some people that like I'm sorry, like you contribute nothing, nothing to
Yeah.
society. Stop making art. You're like
But like a rapper like Kendrick, who does talk about drugs and
yeah,
guns and stuff like here and
but
there,
Kendrick's
right, has a
music
different.
so clearly has like a message and a story. Like
But a
even with like
lot of rap does too.
so
Because
does a
people don't
lot of
want to
rap.
ever listen to it. A
I'm not
lot of
disagreeing.
rap
Hold on,
does.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
No, I know,
But
I know, I
like
know, I know, I know.
I'm
But
saying there
but
is like parts of like music and media. I'm just saying like music and media in terms of like in general. I shouldn't specify this to rap because I don't think it's a rap issue alone. Um, I think rap probably has bigger issues at this point than like gangs and gun culture. Turn Rams down. He's peeking the audio. Oh shit. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I just died.
how about you come in
How's
and
that?
join us
How's
so you
that,
can also
Michelle?
peek in the audience, the audio. Come talk, Michelle.
What? Why can't I move? There it is. Um, did I mute my fucking background music? How the hell did I do that? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god!
Hey, Sims, talk. But like yeah, like I don't know. The whole rap music is the devil and shit like that. I've never liked that sentiment because it's just
Well,
like,
no, yeah, no, that sentiment is stupid
yeah,
alone. Like that, and you're not gonna find disagreement from me because that's like people saying
no,
like
no, no.
rock and roll. Like before rap, it was rock and roll was like the devil's music, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a point where Elvis Presley was like devil's music, which is crazy. But like it's always like generations above will always put
That's where we
something
differ because I do consider Elvis music the devil. Fuck Elvis.
Why?
You can like Elvis. I don't like Elvis at all.
Why?
I
Oh, I love Elvis's music. A lot of it. It was because of Lilo and Stitch, man. I watched too much Lilo and Stitch as a kid, and it was all like Elvis in it.
yeah.
But yeah, even like 70s rock and 80s rock, right? Like that was like heavily stigmatized, and that was stuff like I grew up listening to, or like the shit I grew
Yeah.
up listening to, like even like alternative music, like stuff like that. It was like people were like, "Oh, that's fucking demonic as shit," and I was like, "Fuck off!" Like you can't call a whole genre of music like demonic or like evil, because like, especially when most of it isn't like that. Like people listen to like a few songs that are like maybe like kind of sketchy and be like, that's like the whole genre. And like it's the same thing that happens to rap, right? Like they'll find like
Yeah.
this few shitty songs like and be like, look, this is like what rap is like, and it's like never like true.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't like media being not media, but
Why do you
like
keep
art and
dying, by the way?
stuff. I don't know because I'm like trying to talk, think,
Yeah.
and read comments and trying to get Michelle to come on,
Uh,
but she don't love us.
Am I pinging fine?
Hmm?
I think Michelle's computers. I think Michelle's Wi-Fi is just bad because my pings are. My thing is fine. I'm not getting any
But
quality
yeah, I don't like
issues.
I don't like either side, or
Oops.
I don't like uh uh art being blamed, especially because it's like it has nothing to do with your laws and stuff, and that's what needs to be changed. So the conservative thing, I can kind of get if people blame it or not, because that has to do with actual how the country is run or whatever.
Arguably, young people are more influenced by media and music than politics, though, right?
But it isn't politics though. That's my point. Whereas like if you want to say, oh, what's the problem? What's America's problem with guns? And if you want to say rap music, I'll be like, well, because that's art, right? That has nothing to really do with it. But if you say
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah,
conservatives are actively in politics,
okay,
trying to
yeah,
be
yeah. No,
like
I understand what you mean.
pushing for gun
Okay,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I would agree with
So
that. Okay, fair enough.
that I feel like is like a valid. It's like being like, oh, fucking, why am I hungry? Because of sand. What the fuck does sand have to do with being hungry? Whatever. Like
Yeah,
that's the whole thing with like rap music. Like, what does it have to do with it? Right. Now,
yeah.
if we just want to say about how we influences the youth and stuff, I don't think it influences the youth in a negative way at all. Because if you
Any
actually speak
art?
to
You
the
don't think
youth,
any art has?
no. If you ever speak to any youth or anything, or anybody who like listens to rap music, anybody who's consuming media right now, more of it saves people or helps people out than hurt people.
I mean, that's true. It probably helps more people than it hurts, but you can't like broadly say that like it doesn't harm anybody or it doesn't like encourage any bad behavior ever.
I mean, it could, but I also wouldn't put that on that, because a lot of things will have a negative impact on people.
We can say
Anything you
there's
say.
things that contribute to a negative culture, but not wholesale blame that thing as like
Yeah.
the creation and cause, right? And that's all I'm
You can
saying.
say that. You can say that about TV, movie,
Yeah,
video
100%.
games,
Absolutely.
right?
But that's what we talk about, right? We talk
News
about like
outlets in
hold on, but we
general,
talk
like
about how
anything.
like negative stereotypes of people in TV also like influences people's like perceptions of like different races, right? So we can say the same thing about like anything. It's like anything that like presents like like even if we don't think we're influenced by it, there's probably some level of our psyche that's like influenced by like media, like our media perceptions.
It is, but I also think like with good parenting, like that shouldn't be such a
That's
big
great,
influence
but we're
on
not going to get
on
like
your.
we're not going to
No, you
get
aren't.
wide scale like good parenting at
Yeah.
every level, right? Like so that's like a it's like a nice thought. I never like default to that because it's like, well, yeah, if we had that, then this wouldn't be an issue we're talking about. But that's like not something you're ever going to get. So when you're talking about like advocacy, don't talk about like, oh, we just need better parenting, because it's like, well, that's a stupid
No, for
solution.
sure, but
It's not a
but
solution. Like it's not a feasible solution.
then that's where the problem is right there. Is like, okay, we're not gonna hit 100% good, good or great parenting or whatever. So how now what do we do to like kind of counteract that thing? It's not gonna be anything with like censoring media or anything,
Yeah,
or art or anything. It would be within laws and stuff,
yeah.
right? And that's the whole thing. It's just like people always want to bring like, oh, TV, movies. It's like fucking talk about the laws first. Talk about all the laws you're passing, the bills and everything. Deal with that first.
I would 100% agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's like I'm not into politics like you or other people are, but like I fucking hate Ted Cruz so much, and this is because
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
fair.
like a person who is supposed to be in politics was talk about everything but politics first.
Well, that was like the other day he got like interviewed about the shooting that happened down in Texas, and people are asking him like, how do we combat this? Like,
Oh,
why is like,
oh
did
my
you
god!
did you see the interview where he's like he's
Which one? There's been a couple.
basically there's like
Is it when he was talking about like culture and like God
oh
and
no,
shit?
I haven't seen that one. Oh
Okay.
god, there was one where like two reporters were interviewing him, and they're like, why is this like something that only happens in
Is
America?
it?
How do you
Oh,
think?
he's walking away, right?
I think so, yeah. And he's like, I just heard the clip.
Yeah.
I wasn't like watching it like
Oh no,
I was like
you gotta
listening to it in the
watch it.
background. And it was like, but I could hear him getting farther away from the reporter, so I figured he was like walking away. Hey, masters of all elements. But yeah, it was like this whole thing of like, you're a politician, and he's like, oh, we shouldn't make things like this political. And it's like, dude, you're a fucking politician. That's your job. You're supposed to talk about these events in a political matter.
Why is this an American issue?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because
the American acceptance
he was
thing.
fine with them. If you see the video, he was fine with them
until they brought that up.
They start questioning him about it and be like, "Why is this an American issue, not nowhere else and everything?"
Yeah.
And then he starts getting mad. And then he starts walking away. And then he's just like, "Oh, if it's such an American issue, why do people keep immigrating here? America's the safest place in the world. That's why they keep coming here." It's like, bruh.
And then he was like, "Oh, we shouldn't make this political." And it's like, you're a politician. People are gonna ask you political questions about events like this because they look to you for answers on how to fix this. That's your job, you fuckwit. Like, my God, Ted Cruz. I don't know how he ever got elected into anything. What a moron he is.
He wants to do everything except for talk about politics or answer the question.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
To be fair, that's every politician these days. That's like Jugmeat saying fucking like every time he gets questioned on anything, he just like calls it white supremacy and being like, "Oh, these people hate me because I'm brown." I'm like, I actually hate that man so much.
You gotta be a different type of breed to like have your own people not back you up anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he got ran out of Brampton, bro, by Sikh boys.
Yeah. That's
a whole nother level. Like, these politicians like have like people like Jugmeat Singh and AOC go into government like really as like, oh, we're for the people, we're like with the youth and stuff like that. And the minute they're in for like more than a year, they lose all connection to like anything because they get bought out by like big players, right? Because they have to appeal to like, the I don't want to say establishment because that sounds super like shady and conspiracy-ish. But like it is that whole like, oh fuck, that's not me. No, that's not me. Fuck.
Oh.
I lost my character.
You get lost. Yeah.
I hate when it's purple and blue. It's a terrible. I can never see my character. Okay, I was not paying attention. I didn't realize I came back. Oh my God. I need to pay more attention while we're talking. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. You can't look to politicians for good advocacy or like how to change issues. But then I also like, now it's like my whole problem is like when I like, my whole point of like doing the online like stuff was like, I want to talk to like people about like what are like actual solutions, but like how do you think we should move forward? Like what is good advocacy? And now it feels like even everyone I like meet online, it's like they're just actually fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because now it's like these people are all trying to moderate super, super hard and like not go anything that's like controversial. Like they'll never say anything that's like either like too far against their voter base or too far from like what the established like norms are. That's kind of just how it is. I don't know if like
it's almost like we were fighting for everybody to have their own voice, and then we got to the point where everybody realized you can have your own voice, and are like power tripping with it now.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, you can have your own voice, but it's also like important to like.
You need to work with everyone else around you with that voice too. Like, again, it like feels like that whole thing. Like we have a 10-step plan to like the ideal society, and we need to get everyone on board with step 1. And like we haven't even gotten everyone on board with step 1, and yet we're trying to like we're trying to push for step 4. And it's like, dude, you haven't even gotten everyone on board with step 1. Why are you pushing for step 4? Like it's like even with like the like LGBTQ advocacy and stuff, right? We had to fight for like gay marriage before you could fight for gay adoption. But now it feels like we're not doing that anymore. We're not taking the logical steps. It's like we're working on trans advocacy, but now we also want like gender theory in classrooms, and we want neo-pronouns, and I want everything to be able to, I want my neo-pronouns on like my birth certificate. Like this is like a whole nother level. You haven't even gotten like 50% of the population on board with like trans rights, okay? Like chill. Like we're gonna get there and things need to like progress, but you're never gonna get to that level like with like people if you can't get them on board with step 1. You need to work on step 1 and get people like gay marriage. I think by the time it passed had like 80% people like on board with it, or like maybe it was 60, and then by like after like 3 or 4 years like it was like up to 80% were like on board with gay marriage, or even higher than that it might have been. And it was like one of those things where it's like, that's good, you had that, like you took that step, you worked on like getting that thing, you got that thing, and then you're like, okay, now we're gonna go on to like adoption potential, right? Like gay people didn't have widespread adoption power, and we're working to try to get that now. It's like the logical step next. But like when you're working on stuff that are like 5-6 steps ahead of the rest of society, like you're like that's you're never gonna make any progress that way because you're just never gonna get people that far moving.
Yeah. I think about like activism. Bad activism is when you only activate, or is that a word? What's the word I'm looking for? When you only advocate for yourself, right? Yeah. Or it's like someone who is from an oppressed group wants to just advocate for that oppressed group, no matter what the consequences are, or no matter like what like the end goal is, right? So it's like when you have people who are like, oh, I don't mind calling white people crackers and stuff, and it's like I use the word cracker too to my white friends when it's a joke,
Yeah.
right? But we got to the point where like everybody's so comfortable with saying it and stuff. It's just like now we're having this like
Now we
this real
actually
kind
like
of fight. Well, it's
hating
like we're
white
having
people
this
went from a
fight
joke to like a
for
legitimately feeling.
yeah. Well, it's like now we're still fighting for equality for everybody. But the thing about equality is that means we have everybody on one side.
Yeah.
And like now you have white people who feel like, oh, they're the butt of the joke, or they're being pressed and stuff. It's like not true, but the way y'all talk about it sometimes, I can see how they feel.
And again, this is like kind of goes back to our conversation from the other day where I said I'm like most people don't feel things as a class, right? And so like for like a white person who constantly hears like white jokes or like
Yeah,
like
oh,
jokes
white
online
people
about
are
like
evil.
white people are
People
evil,
cause
we should
all this stuff.
legitimately like people
Cis
saying
white
like on
male,
Twitter being like
you're
I wish
evil.
white people
like that. Yeah.
there's like people on like Twitter being like white people are roaches, white people should like we should have a genocide of white people. Like when people are on Twitter saying stuff like that and you as a white person see that, you're like I'm not really on your side with the cause because I'm like
Yeah.
if you don't sound like you're joking, I'm gonna think that like the minute we get equality, like you're killing my ass, right?
The
Like
amount of times I hear people being like, "Oh, if you're a cis white male, you shouldn't have
voice heard.
an opinion on anything."
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Yo, shut the fuck up!"
Shut
Like,
the fuck. Like you have to remember, we live in
the,
a society with these people.
yeah,
That's
the
that
end
does
goal is for us all to be on one side.
yeah. We should like you like as much as stupid as it sounds and how cliche as it sounds. It's like that like we are all one human race and we are gonna have to like
Yeah,
all live with each other. Like you know what I mean? Like we are like that is like the end existence, right? We just want like
yeah.
that's like
Which is why I hate when people are like, "Oh, if you're this, you shouldn't have an opinion on this." It's like
no.
everybody gets an opinion,
Everyone gets an opinion. It's stupid. I
right?
hate
Who
it.
makes the rules and stuff?
They're like, oh,
Is it
don't talk
different?
on gay issues if you're not gay. Don't
Yeah,
talk on black issues if you're not black. No, shut the fuck up. Like, these are discussions you have to have because we all live in this society together. Whatever your solutions are, they aren't just solutions for you. Everyone's gonna have
yeah,
to like compromise on those solutions because those solutions are gonna affect all of us. Like,
yeah. Like
and
when it
you're
comes
not
to like
getting around
abortion.
that.
When it comes to an abortion, as a male, I will always voice my opinion. That's just
Yeah.
it, right? Am I gonna be like, oh, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, or should I be making rules about it? No.
Yeah.
But as far as opinion goes, I feel like, yeah, anybody and everybody who is affected by this in any way should be able to have their opinion on it.
Yeah, because you might get married one day to a woman who, like, if she gets pregnant or whatever, like, you probably still want your voice heard in that situation.
Yeah.
But, like, you're probably going to give it, like, the final say because you're the one that's going to have to deal with it. But it shouldn't just be like, oh, your wife should make the decision wholesale. You don't get any choice in it. Like, that'd be stupid to say.
Yeah.
Right? Like, one voice is going to probably matter a little bit more, but I think everyone should have that voice, like, in those discussions.
Yeah.
Because that's, yeah.
And
I don't know
just,
why
like,
that's so
you don't know-
controversial to say these days.
you don't know who the fuck is gonna come up with $1 million idea.
Yeah.
It could be legit anybody. Someone who doesn't have anything to do with the situation can come up with $1 million idea.
Yeah.
And you just want to limit that now. Well, Michelle said you can have an opinion, but she gotta listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but also no. But I'll also say like, yo, like everybody's opinion should be kind of considered. But like,
Yeah.
like if we're talking specifically about like,
You gotta
like,
listen to the people
women's
around you.
bodies and abortion or whatever, the last say shouldn't be
Yeah.
me or another man or anything.
Yeah.
But voice your opinion, like that's a whole different thing. That's just disgusting.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to kind of like things between like you and a partner, like I think that's definitely like a time you should be like, hey, I'm like, there should be some discussion. It shouldn't be like one person making that decision wholesale. And I think some people
Yeah.
genuinely believe like, oh, if you're like a man in a relationship, you shouldn't have any say. Like if your girlfriend says she wants an abortion, there's no discussion. Like it's like,
Yeah.
I super hate that stuff because it's like, no, like especially in a partner relationship, like not just in general politics, but like if you're like building a relationship with someone, you should probably have like some consideration for them. Oh shit, I died.
And the opinion thing only comes up when the opinion is not shared, right?
Yeah.
Because no one says that if someone's like a man saying, oh, they're for abortion and for
Yeah.
pro-choice or whatever. No one's like, oh, keep your own opinion to yourself.
Yeah, then
No,
you can.
because you need the support. And you
Yeah.
like the support because we're all working into this together, right? Again, the end goal is for us all to live together, quality.
So yeah, right now, like with the online politics stuff, because obviously I follow that a lot, but there's this like whole thing between like left-wing influencers who are like, oh, conservatives are like completely evil and like anything is justified against them because they're like coming for your rights and they hate us and they'll like genocide us and stuff. Like a legitimate idea on like the left right now. And so like there's this whole thing of like, is it okay to like kill someone you believe is like wholesale evil? And so it's like it kind of feels like we're like almost like headed towards like political violence and like certain fringe groups of like the online like left, and it's like, oh, that is not the way we should be advocating. Like I don't think to outright call like your political opposition like outright evil, I think is like never a good way to go about like discussing politics.
Yeah.
They're evil and they don't care about you and therefore they shouldn't get an opinion and anything they say can be disregarded is like probably the worst way you can engage in political discussion.
Yeah.
And if anyone disagrees with that, like I don't know.
In my personal opinion, Michelle doesn't love us. But that's just
No,
me.
she definitely doesn't. She don't care. She don't love me.
Oh. If she should, she would support and be here. Just saying.
Should I be a shark? I literally switched. Oh, did you just resubscribe?
Oh, what the hurt?
Yeah, love you. Why didn't it give me a notification? Oh, maybe resubscribing doesn't? I don't know. What hurt? What did you do?
She said she doesn't love us.
Oh. Oh. Thanks, BB. Yeah. No, fuck it. I'll stick with the shark. Let's try the shark. Let's see what this does.
Oh, brown
She
shark.
loves me though, right? I'm her wife. She has to love me.
If she did, she'd be here with you.
She loves Sims a little more than me, to be fair.
Like The Sims.
Ooh, that's not a bad weapon. Ooh, that's a real good weapon.
Did you see
So I
the
made you a
dude that attacked the Mona Lisa?
What?
Yeah, someone threw cake at the Mona Lisa.
Someone threw a kid at the Mona Lisa?
Cake.
Oh. I thought you said a kid. I was like, wait, what?
So basically what happened was there was a granny in a wheelchair. But then plot twist, it's not a granny in a wheelchair, it's a full-grown man capable of everything. And he jumps out of his wheelchair and tries to smash the glass around the Mona Lisa, but it's like bulletproof and shit, he can't do it.
Oh
and so
my-
instead he just like smashes a cake onto it and then they escort him out.
What? What makes people do things like that? That's my question. Like,
See,
is it notoriety? Like, what made you like decide I'm gonna go smash a cake on the Mona Lisa? That's what I'm
now,
gonna do today.
I've seen two things about this, and I've seen like a couple things online, and I like read an article and saw a video about it. No one's ever given the motive, because when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, maybe it was some activist shit, right? Like fake protests and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing of it. If this guy had any motive, I don't think anybody cares or knows.
It's just
or
notoriety.
there's
It
no
was just
motive.
like 5 minutes of
Yeah.
fame.
Not even because you don't even see him. Like you
Dang.
see him, but he's like in a wig and like glasses and shit. He's like, so it's like,
He
you
just
don't
wants to
know
be
who
able to tell his
the fuck that dude is.
grandkids, like, I was the guy who smashed a cake on the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, do you think that's like his like new like bio and Tinder is now?
Probably. I'm the guy who smashed the cake into the Mona
Or-
Lisa. That'd be crazy. Would you match on that guy? That's the real question.
Yeah, and then meet him up on a date and then smash cake in his face.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
Michelle says he said something about art is destroying the earth.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Art in general, or like fine art, like a high class art. Because high end art, I will say, is like shitty art. So it's fucking shitty. It's just billionaires and millionaires wanting to stay billionaires and millionaires.
Well, it's usually because it's like got some historic significance of like people that like don't exist anymore.
Okay, okay,
Like
yeah.
a Da Vinci
so,
painting is like expensive probably for a pretty good reason, right?
Okay, to some
What
degree,
cost?
yeah. Like the Mona Lisa or something like that. Like sure, like anything like that like redefined or like put into a new Renaissance or some shit. Cool, but a lot of this shit is just BS.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like the 3 strokes of black paint on a canvas and then like selling that for
Yeah.
like $2.2 million is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I get it because of being expensive, but some of it is expensive for no fucking reason.
It's
Some of it is just
again,
because
that
of
comes from like
people.
notoriety in the name, right?
Yeah.
It's why like you might have two artists that are just as good, but like one artist can charge like way more for their concert because of notoriety,
Right.
right? Like that's usually what everything comes down to.
But, like, no modern artwork should be worth even like tens of thousands of dollars.
You think
I
so?
feel like, yeah. Because a lot of time when it is, it's just again, it's just like wish people to put their money somewhere that isn't cash now.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing, right? You want to have your money in assets. So it's like usually most people. That's actually like just smart
But
investing.
but now you can just put it and because you can be like I sold or like what people will do is they'll donate a painting and like put it at a value of like $2 million when it's like not $2 million painting, so they can be like, oh, I donated $2 million, and then they can write that off in their taxes.
Yeah, but so
And
what?
that's super shitty. Like I don't feel like we shouldn't be allowing that.
Yeah, well then fix the tax loopholes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame anyone for taking advantage of tax loopholes like that. Like if you can if you can like buy a painting for 2.2 million and like as like a donation to a museum,
Well,
right?
they don't even buy it for 2.2. They would buy it for whatever, like 100 grand, and be like, yeah, this is worth 2.2 mil.
Do you think that actually happens?
Oh, it does.
Does it? Okay.
That's
But
that's the
even
big
so, it's
thing
like it's
of
one of
the
those
art
things.
world
Well, it's
is
like
moving.
yeah. I mean,
It is moving
is it
money.
bad just because
Into
they're
the,
rich, or is it bad because it's a bad action?
it's it's back as a bad action.
So like Will like sell, like when Will buys a
Well, okay,
car,
I wouldn't even say it's. I think it's just shitty.
do you think
Like,
it's shitty, like when we
I
like
think
buy
'cause
cars and like
I
put
think
like
it,
a
I
way
think
limit?
it in the end of the day, what it does is it more or less devalues art, right? Because not like it's a known thing, so it's like okay, what is anything really worth now? And then it takes like the
Yeah,
novelty
but
out of
like
it
nothing
too.
has inherent value, right? That's like everything has value because we give it value. Like that's like it's a human concept,
Right, but
right?
now we're saying that the art value is to keep me rich instead of the art. So now it's like the art is about something more than just the art.
I mean,
And
I
so for
get
people who
well,
are
art's
actually
just, like it's just a
about
way for
art, it's
people to
just like
like
stupid.
keep their money, right? Like it has
Yeah,
nothing to do with the art piece. It's just like it's like money laundering, right? Like the act
yeah,
of money laundering. It's not about like the things you're buying or like the things that you're laundering it through, right? It's
yeah.
about like laundering the money. And it's like the same thing with art. Is like it's not like about the art piece itself, but like the way they can use it to like you know basically not pay tax on the money or like whatever.
Wait, Michelle, do you support them doing this or not?
I have people taking advantage of whatever like systems exist. I wouldn't not
Oh, I'm not
degrade.
even saying like to me it's not even shitty because of like them taking advantage of like the system as in like taxing and stuff. It's just shitty because like like because those are the reasons that they do it. It like to me it devalues like the art world and shit like that.
No, I don't think it has anything. I like separate those things in my head. Like I think these are two separate actions, right? Like one person like trying to get like their money up and then like the like art itself, right? Like the art exists like whether or not people do that with the art. And I don't think
But when
like
you but when you look
the
at
way
like
people treat art.
artists and be like, oh, here's two artists and one like honed their craft or whatever, right? And spent like years learning how to do what they do best, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like selling, pennies on the dollar compared to another artist who just put two strokes on a painting and is now known worldwide as this great fucking painter. It's like it's shitty to like that industry
Oh,
of
I
people.
agree if you're doing that type of shit. If you're like selling
But
like
that's what happened. That's because like a lot of like the
but
famous artists
that
of
wasn't what we
today.
were talking about though. I think like those are two separate things. You were talking about the way they like use it for like that yeah,
Oh no,
that's
I'm saying that's what they use it for, and I find that shady because it devalues like the art industry and like that field.
okay, I can understand that argument a little bit more.
Yeah, because now it's like because if you ever look at all like the modern day contemporary artists that people are like, oh, these are the best artists in there. It's like some of them yes, but some of them are just
Like
garbage.
it's just yeah, it's like literally a child could paint this and be the
Yeah.
same. Cuz like I think yeah, like oh. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that bitch. No. Yeah, that bitch.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, are we blue or brown? We're
We're
brown,
brown.
right? Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
did
I
it just
got
kill
confused
you
a
or?
little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, game's racist, okay?
Well, I gotta check, sometimes I don't remember.
Yeah, no, anyway, going back to the art thing, I can understand how, like, if you're making art for the simple means of, like, doing taxes and stuff, like, I can understand, like, how that would be devaluing, right? If you're, like, if someone is making the art and, like, you're buying that art for the simple transaction piece, then, like, I can understand it. But, like, if they're, like,
Yeah.
if it's someone who's, like, making art and, like, a rich person happens to use it in that way, or makes a deal with the artist to use it in that way, then that's different to me. Right? Like, those are two, like, substantially different, like, situations. And I thought we were talking
Right,
about the latter situation.
no, so like it's like a lot of people will find it shitty because it's just like two loopholes. So I'm in the same boat where it's just like isn't like them like taking advantage of a loophole is shitty? Is that loophole exists already? That's
Yeah,
shitty.
I would agree with that, 100%.
But my whole thing with like this specific thing is because it fucks up like an industry. So like now
We've, like,
fucking
devalued,
art
like,
isn't the industry of art and like what's a good artist and what's not a good artist
yeah.
isn't about like how music, right? We can say, oh, this person is a good musician
Because
because
people
they
stream,
make high
yeah.
quality art that a lot of people fuck with.
Yeah,
Now
like,
it's
if,
just like whatever the millionaire, billionaire, whoever is investing in this, stumbled upon. I was like, yeah, I can put my money in that. That decides it.
yeah.
Whether or not they think that art is good or anybody thinks that art is good, it's just that's like somewhere that they're gonna put their money, and now that's being looked at as like good art.
Yeah,
or
no,
high-end
I would
art,
super agree with that.
right.
Not bad. Got both you in
You
that one.
could,
Oh, fuck, I missed.
oh, nice.
Thanks. The left is always bad at things they should be good at. The left progressives used to be really good at, like, advocating. Like, we used to be really good at it, but I was talking to Rams, like, 10 minutes ago about this, but, like, we used to be really good at making, like, stepped plans and, like, following a step plan to get people on board with, like, step-by-step issues in, like, a progressive manner. Like, things that, like, it progressed over time, like, to more, like, like, for example, like, we wanted, like, you want gay rights. So you started off with things as simple as, like, public acceptance, and then you went to, like, gay marriage, and then now you're going towards, like, adoption things, right? Like, it's a progressive thing where you, like, got, like, you got, like, 60 to 80% of, like, the population on board with, like, gay marriage, and then you got that. And now you're slowly starting to get more people on board with, like, having gay people adopt, and, like, now we're, like, vibing for that because, like, more people are on board with it. But now it feels like the left oftentimes skips, like, we have a 10-step plan of where we want society to be. And instead of starting with, like, step 1, getting everyone on board, and then moving to step 2, and then getting everyone on board, then going to step 3, and getting, like, until you get what you want, you, like, start on step 1, and then you start, like, screaming for step 5 and being like, well, we're, like, you're not progressive enough because you're not at step 5 with the rest of us yet, even though, like, the people who are at step 5 is, like, this fringe minority of people who exist on the internet. And, like, they're, like, super ass mad that, like, 90% of the population isn't on board with step 5, even though we can't even get people on board with, like, step 1 yet. That's what it feels like all the time right now, especially, like, existing on online politics for sure. In real life politics, it's a little bit different, but even there, it's, like, getting harder because I think people are, like, the online stuff is moving more IRL. And, like, the things we advocate for in, like, real life politics. I would say, like, trans issues are the big one right now that I've noticed this with. Especially being in the LGBT community. Like, we can't even get people on board with, like, basic, like, adult people transitioning in general society, like, and having, like,
We still haven't figured out our bathroom situations.
yeah, like, we haven't figured out, like, base things of, like, a 25-year-old person should be able to, like, transition and have medical access to, like, hormone replacement therapy and, like, gender affirming surgery, and you can't get even...
Is it wrong to say that if to anybody who believes that should be changed right away is kind of stupid?
What, the bathrooms or the medical stuff?
Bathroom and all and that kind of stuff. To
That's
think
the
that
thing,
there
is
was like a feasible way of changing that within even like 5 years is stupid.
Yeah,
in
I
my
completely
opinion.
agree. But that's the thing, is, like, we're, like, talking about, like, issues of, like, we're trying
They
to just get
wanna
people,
change-
like,
they
step
change right
1 is, like,
now.
trying to get people on board with, like, basic, like, adult people transitioning and having access to, like, medical, like, affirmation and stuff like that. And being able to, like, maybe change stuff on, like, their legal names and all that type of stuff, right? Like, those are base issues, and you can't even get people on board with that step 1, and people are already on step 5 of wanting people to accept, like, neo-pronouns and shit, or, like, xenogenders. And it's like, dude, most of the, like, 40% of the population maybe is on board with, like, the first step. you're never going to get acceptance for step 5 of that plan. That's like the super annoying thing. Fuck. The left online has a doomer outlook and makes them feel like the system is rigged against them, so the only changes they see as reasonable are complete 180. Oh shit, I was not paying attention to the game. Fuck, I jumped off the ledge.
Just get that too.
So the only changes they see as reasonable are complete 180s. Yeah, 100%. We have that though. Wait, do you think we have broad acceptance for like trans people? I almost doubt that. Like, maybe like 50% of the population is on board with them, but like, I don't think like, I feel like, gay marriage was like something that like only Democrats were like for like many years, and then like, we like slowly got more acceptance, and we got to like about 60% of the population, and then we like legalized it, and then like 80% of the population now like, or 80 to 90% of the population like supports gay marriage. It's like one of those things where it's like we're like slowly getting there with trans issues because like people understand it more, and we might be at that point where like people are on board with like adult humans transitioning, but like you're like going from like that to like now I want my like 5-year-old kid to like be able to like have their xenogender and like be on like puberty blockers like without having to go through like therapy or anything, right? Like that's the place where like it feels like sometimes advocacy is at.
You also got like there's also needs to be like a lot more of like on the educational side of what really trans people are and stuff, because there are people who just don't know that's the whole thing in general,
or like don't understand it at all. Like they'll hear about it and they have like no, like they genuinely don't understand the difference between that and like the helicopter thing, right? Like the attack helicopter joke. They're like, wait, why is it not the same thing? Like, and it's not even like a mean thing. Like I think there's people who just genuinely do not understand it whatsoever.
I still don't understand the whole what you call it, the xeno, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm like only like I'm in the LGBTQ, and I still am not fully on board with that stuff either, right? Like, because it feels like super weird to like make arbitrary categories of people and be like, yeah, this is like something you have to use for like individuals when we were like, I don't know. There's a whole lot of like other issues with like that type of stuff and how it feels like it's probably like more of a political thing than like anything that's like actually like legitimate or real compared to like, trans issues. But I don't know, that's a whole other conversation. I want to do a whole stream on like the problems within the LGBTQ that I've like noticed being in it and why I like don't associate with other people in it. The people that want the crazy pronoun stuff is a small minority, but an outspoken one that like to feel like they're special. I agree, but I feel like it's becoming more popularized, especially with like online commentary becoming really popular. It's starting to bleed into like real life. And trust me, like I have family who works in like education system and like
I agree with the whole thing of it being a small minority, but the also thing about that is like it's that small minority, and then there's a lot of people who are so quick to back it up. Not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but there are people out there who is like, if you feel oppressed in any way, they want to support you against whatever you claim is your oppressor right away.
Yeah,
without
100%.
kind of taking a step back and being like, all right, let's actually talk this out and
I think like deeper critical thinking and like analysis of these issues is like needed by most people, rather than just saying like, you don't accept me, therefore you're a bigot. Like that's what it feels like everything comes down to. Is like, if you don't agree with me, you're a bigot. It was like the whole ACAB thing that happened too. It was like, if you're not like against the police, like, you're against us. And it was like, damn, like that's a little strong.
So now, even though it is like a small minority, there's a big push though, because there's a lot of people that behind it that don't necessarily subscribe to that, but subscribe to like that push.
So do you think schools should pretend that transgender and gay and bi people don't... Wait, did I say that? Where did I say it? Where did you get that impression that I thought that? No, absolutely the fuck not. I think kids should probably know about these things, especially like if it comes up naturally. Like it's one of those things that you can't explain to kids. Like, not everyone like, looks the same. Not everyone is the same. Like, I don't think like
Macklemore thought he was gay in the third grade, It's something that happens.
Like some people like there's some boys who like boys, there's some girls who like girls, and like we should just accept people for who they are. And I think that's like I think up until a certain age, that's probably like the deepest like conversation you need to have. It's like I don't want like 8-year-old kids having to deal with like heavy topics of race issues. It's like I know people say like, oh, if like you're young enough to experience racism, then like you're young enough to learn about it. I'm like, I honestly don't think you should probably be putting more like emphasis on race within like young kids, like in general. I think kids are like if you leave them neutral, they'll like be neutral. Like no one's born racist, and the more you push race things onto like young kids, the more they're gonna think about it. I think the worse it gets. Ooh, that was a good recovery. But I think it's like one of those things like, yeah, if it comes up naturally, for sure. Like, and like it's like if you're like if your teacher's gay, they should be able to talk about their husband in class and like no one have an issue with it. Of
Wait, so
course.
are you saying? Okay, wait. Are you saying that we shouldn't talk about race at a young age?
I don't think we should talk about it in terms of like race issues at a young age.
Okay, so bro, here's my problem with that, because I do agree, like, if we just didn't, talk to the kids about this or whatever, maybe, yeah, they'll stay neutral. But again, it's like the same thing of like when we were talking about like, oh, not every parent's gonna be a good parent, so we gotta take that account. It's the same thing. You can't, because I probably would talk to my kids about like race issues and stuff, because I know there's gonna be some other parent that is also talking about it, but in like a negative way.
That's
right?
probably true.
I got, like,
Okay,
little nieces
sorry.
and
Let me
nephews-
rephrase.
I got-
Actually,
I got
let
little
me
nieces who
let
are-
me
who are
let me
in the,
restate
like,
what I meant there. I don't want to talk about like white privilege and white supremacy with like 8-year-old kids.
Oh yeah.
That's
But,
like
but
when I talk about.
yeah,
Sorry,
but
that
you
should have
gotta
been
talk about, like,
clarified.
the topic
I
of
think,
like, oh, people
yeah.
might look at you different because of your skin.
Yeah,
'Cause I
100%.
got, like, nieces
That's like
who are, like,
well,
in
I mean, that's
elementary.
conversations we all got growing up, right? Like,
I got nieces who are in elementary right now, and they live in a city that is they're Indian, like me and Sabrina are,
yeah,
and they live in I guess we shouldn't say cities and stuff, but they
yeah,
live in a city that is not
predominantly,
primarily Indians and more like East Asians and stuff,
yeah.
right? So she's going to school with a bunch of people who are like East Asians, and I think then the next big population is like Caucasian white people, right? And then there's like a little bit of like Indian, but she's like the only like Indian brown chick in her grade or whatever, and she gets bullied like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're black, you're too dark, your skin's too dark, do this and that, right?
Dude, we
So
had a
it's
whole
like,
brown school and we still had that shit where like the fucking dark skinned kids always got fucking
Right.
roasted. Like,
but this is like elementary,
Yeah.
like early, and I'm like, to me that's fucking insane. That's crazy.
100%.
And I never even thought about like having a conversation with a kid about like race and stuff like that until like I started hearing about that shit. I'm like, yo, like because like I was like, yo, just don't bring it to the kids, and like they'll eventually learn about it. But like,
Yeah, and those
once you
kids
start
probably had
making it
negative
thing, then
influence.
there's gonna be a thing in their life. But nah,
I
it's
think
just,
you
like,
should
it's something
probably have
that's
the conversation with your kids
inevitable.
that like, especially if you're in a place that's like not a lot of like people like you should probably talk about like, hey, like,
Yeah.
there's people going to treat you differently, and that's totally fine. I don't want to talk about like white privilege in like a grade 3 classroom. Like, I think those things like you probably shouldn't bring up with like young kids, because I think when you're too young to understand those issues in like a deep way, you're automatically going to feel like a little bit awkward like talking about those at like such a young age and feel like you've done something wrong because you're white. Because I think
Yeah.
kids don't have like the conceptual understanding at that age to like understand what white privilege actually is. But you have states literally trying to eliminate education about these issues from schools and creating a culture where it's bad to talk about it. Oh, 100%. The Florida bill, I went over on stream and how bad that bill was. It was an awful it was terribly written, poorly designed. It was gonna like lead to so many issues. Like, dude, I completely agree. Like, especially like that Florida bill, I know which one you're talking about. Like, that was a terrible bill, and I hate that type of shit. But like, you can like moderate between like having like a bill like that and being like, we're gonna talk about like gender critical issues in grade 3, right? Like, there's like, these are two separate things that like there is a position between these two, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's like, it's not that like you either have to talk about like every LGBTQ issue in like in a elementary classroom, or like you can't talk about any of this shit at all. There's a position between these two that like exist. That's like the moderate like good way to teach kids about these things and make them open-minded without like, yeah.
Kind of going back to like the art stuff and stuff. Also, fucking stop banning books.
Oh,
Please, like,
Jesus Christ.
like what? Like I.
The next time
It's
I
so
see somebody
fucking
ban a
stupid.
book, I'm actually gonna lose my mind.
It's so fucking stupid.
That's like every school that's like been like, oh, if parents suggest that, like, I don't remember where it was, I think it might have been Florida as well, where they're like, oh, if parents want to ban a book, then like it can be banned if they like advocate for it. And I'm like, I hope a parent goes in there and just advocates to get the Bible banned, because I think that'd be the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna say we're allowed to ban books and like by parents' choice, then like you should be able to go in there and say like the Bible's banned in my school. Sorry, I don't.
Yeah.
You made the rules, you're living by them. So it's natural for the other side to be outspoken about the right to talk about these things when they just recently started being able to talk about stuff openly. The more open you are about these things, the more naturally the issue will cancel each other out. Making it more taboo in any way only makes it worse. Yeah, I don't want to create stigma or taboo around it, but I think there's like things you can teach at different ages and different like points, and there's things you can understand at different ages and like at different developmental stages. And I think like teaching things too early can probably give kids a bad conceptual understanding of these issues. just because like they're not developed, like their mind isn't developed enough to understand them in a deep way.
Yeah, but you gotta prepare them for it.
You gotta, but that's what I'm saying is there's a point between
yeah.
saying like we're just gonna be colorblind and not teach them anything about race, and saying we're gonna teach you about white privilege. Like there's
Yeah,
a middle
yeah.
ground there, right? Like there's
Yeah.
there's a middle ground for sure. You warp children's views by making them immediately start thinking of things through race. That happens naturally. There's no way you can avoid seeing the world through race, but you can be more educated about it.
That was more what I was responding to.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
you gotta prepare them about it.
humans are naturally a little bit tribalistic. So if you grow up in a really multicultural city, you're probably not going to have those same views just because like you grew up around a lot of people who are like super open-minded and super chill, like and also like around people who look different than you, and like so you were naturally exposed to it. But if you grew up in a place that's like not very multicultural, oh my god, that's not me. Fuck. I was looking at the wrong character. Oops. You don't need to bombard children early to see race dynamics, gender expression issues. Let the kids be kids, and we'll figure it out on the way. I agree with that, but that's like my thing. Is like I don't want to be putting labels on kids at like 5 years old. I don't think any like 5-year-old kid needs a label. You know what I mean? Like, let kids be kids. Let them express themselves how they want. Let them do what they want. Like, let them be who they want to be. But don't like necessarily put labels on it at like 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like we're doing. Is like everything has to be a label now, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just want kids to like grow up open-minded and like like being in an environment that they're open to explore themselves and who they want to be without necessarily having to like, because I think like even like I remember growing up there was like kids who thought they were like, you know, gay or lesbian or bi or whatever, and then they turned out not to be, and it's like it's a really hard thing if you start having to like label at a really young age before you like truly understand yourself. And then like having to kind of go back and forth with that. I think like if there's an easier way to do it, it would be, but I just think like up until a certain point, kids probably just don't need to be labeled. Like I hate people who are like, "Oh, he's gonna."
Like you say, like up to a certain point, but the point that they get, when they get to that, I think people don't expect it to come as soon as it will. It will come soon because, like, especially in today's society, when like, we're so in tune with the internet and everything, kids are exposed to like racism and stuff like that, like much faster than like even when we were growing up.
To be fair, I also don't like kids being on the internet like up until like.
No, I don't either.
I'm like my kid's not getting the fucking phone until like high school shit.
Of, like 15 should have any social media presence.
Yeah, like 13 to 15 is like the earliest you
too.
should be online. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like. You can watch like fun little YouTube videos, and you could have PBS like the rest of us fuckers did, right? Like that's it.
But again, the problem you have is that you don't get to raise everybody's kids, and not everybody's gonna raise their kids, right?
100%.
So a lot of kids are gonna be on that, and they're supposed to. And then
that's
they
what I'm
start
saying.
saying
Like you need to be able to have open conversations without like overly stigmatizing either way. Like you need to be able to have race conversations and be like, there's gonna be people who treat you differently, but it doesn't mean that every person in that group is like an evil, horrible monster.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
but it's like something you gotta, even if you don't want to have that conversation or bring the conversation with your kid or whatever, you should at least have that conversation with yourself of like what you would tell your kid.
Yeah, 100%.
If they ever bring that up or if that ever gets brought up in their life.
To be fair, I'm also one of those people who's like, if you aren't willing to accept your kid no matter how they turn out, then you probably don't have fucking kids. If you're not willing to have a gay kid, a trans kid, whatever kid, like. And
if you're having kids for any kind of selfish reason, don't have kids.
Don't have kids.
And that is a selfish reason. If you want to accept a gay kid or a kid that's that.
If you want to have a family and have a family and like raise a kid to have a happy home, like that should be your only goal. But if you're like, I want like a little fucking mini me, like don't have kids. Sorry. I will answer the comments in like 10 seconds here once I maybe kill this person.
Thinking back to elementary school, high school, I never talked to my... What do you mean by I'll never talk to my Michelle?
Okay, fuck, I lost it. Hold on, let's see. I want to go through these comments really quick.
Also, Will's here, Michelle.
Oh, sometimes they can avoid that depending on the environment they're born into. That's why we have counselors in school. Let's be real, counselors suck, or a lot of them do. I mean, our counselors were pretty good. My elementary school one was really good.
I would first ask this person if they're in the States or not, or they were here.
Oh, is it different? I don't know. A lot of people will see this education as indoctrination.
Everybody who's I've talked to from the States who talk about counselors and everything don't have like I mean, some people do have good experiences, but some people are like have
But
different
that's
experiences.
everywhere. I think that even happens in
Yeah,
Canada, right? Like that just depends on who you end up with.
yeah. I will say
It,
our school specifically, as far as staff goes, we had a pretty good staff,
you can't
like
call it
teachers and all
you can
that.
I'm gonna say right now, you can't call it indoctrination if you're just teaching kids about the world that exists. Kids are gonna meet like other gay people and gay kids, and they're gonna meet trans people, and they're gonna meet black people. They are going to meet other people. It is not indoctrination to tell them that like different people exist, and like you should probably not be like terrible to these people just because they're different. Like that's not indoctrination. That is just teaching kids about the world around them. I think while labels and lefty Karens are lame, the way the right and Republicans are taking literal legislative action against that is way too far to sending the country back 50 years. I agree with this. I don't like the Republican legislation that's going through, right? But I will and I'll completely own that. But I'm not a right wing. I'm not a Republican. I can't critique I can't sit here and be like, oh, the way the Republicans are acting are wrong. Of course, I don't agree with any of their policy decisions. Like that's a pretty blatant statement as being a fucking left wing person, right? I like if I sit here and just like rat on like Republicans all day, I'm not saying anything new. Like you already know I'm not a Republican, so obviously I don't agree with those policies or those bills. But like then my like job as a lefty person is I want to critique like the way we're advocating for stuff because I don't think we're not benefiting our own cause by acting like this.
Wait. Okay, the comment of being a lot of people will see this education, and then wait, and then you make it a more diverse country with that.
No, I think he said divisive.
Oh, this okay.
Yeah. If you feel like
But okay, whatever. Oh, let that be.
think about let's see. If you feel like that's indoctrination, then you're overly sensitive. It's replies like that makes no one take the left seriously. I mean, it was kind of a stupid statement, right? Like if you're just teaching kids about the world, like there's two different things, right? There's there is like a level that's like probably going too far with like young kids. Like I don't know. These are like really touchy topics. Like you would have to I would have to pin down like different arguments and different things. But like sometimes like you see those like TikTok videos of teachers who are teaching their kids like crazy shit, and I'm like, all right, chill out. You're a kindergarten teacher. Like no kindergarten teacher learning their like ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s. There's kids who can't do that shit anymore. Okay.
But like at that young of an age, it's not like you. I don't think you should like go out of your way and like to talk about these in such detail or whatever. But you should be prepared for them if a kid comes up to you about it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things
As
where
kids
it's like
are curious.
yeah,
right?
just be like, but like I think like the conversation can be as like easy as like, hey, like some people like there's boys who like boys, there's girls who like girls, and like these things like these people exist and they're super fine and like we should accept them and like everyone's like it's just because they love different people and it's like that's. I don't think that conversation needs to be that tough because like a 5-year-old,
No.
if you say something like that to them, they'll just accept it. They'll be like,
No one's
okay,
saying
makes
that
sense.
like at like grade 2
Like,
you
no
should teach
5-year-old
kids,
is gonna
like,
push you
race
on
theory
that.
and shit, right? It's just like
Yeah.
But they're in the real world now, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna experience some stuff and they're gonna be curious about it.
You go to Mr. M and tell him you're gay. Who is Mr. M? Was it?
I only
I'm trying to remember. Anyway,
I don't remember any of our,
I don't remember any names from high
counselor
school.
names.
Fuck. If you're teaching literal facts, it's not indoctrination. A lot of parents want schools to stick to teaching the traditional subjects because they want to teach the touchy stuff. Yeah, but most parents, like a lot of parents, aren't really good at teaching like these touchy subjects themselves. Like we talk about sex education. You know how many parents just avoid the like topic of sex altogether with their kids? Like, I don't trust like most parents to teach these like. If you're in the deep south, I don't trust those parents to probably teach about like gay issues or like race issues or like even sex education because like they're not gonna give their kids good information. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't trust every lefty to do it either because I think like some of them are gonna teach their kids that like, little Timmy, you're like a white supremacist because you're white. So because there's bad things on the but like. Some of these things need to be taught in school where like they can be in a controlled setting and not like subject to their parents' biases of like how they want it taught, right? Like that's the thing. Math, reading, writing, science, and history. These things should be like the main majority of your schooling. But you guys got to remember, like school isn't just about learning like the basic facts and like how to read and how to write and how to like do math. School is a big part of your socialization in life, like your social skills and learning how to socialize in the world.
It's more than so just preparing you for.
That's the thing is like you need to like kids. Your first like 3 years of school from like kindergarten to grade 3 are mostly about socialization skills, right? You learn how to socialize with people around you, learn how to like make friends, build relationships. Like these things are really, really important. You learn social skills of how to interact with the world. Like school is so much more than just like, this is why I don't agree with homeschooling, because homeschooling, you lose a lot of the experience that you get from school. That isn't just like the like legitimate like curriculum that you're learning. The issue with that is they just end up not teaching it. They teach it in one way or another based on their interactions with others. Oh, is that about the parents teaching things? Yeah, no, I wouldn't trust parents with like most of these issues. I'm sorry. Part of history involves those subjects. Part of social studies involves that. And at a certain age, you're smart enough to have a smart discussion about those things and prepare yourself when they inevitably going to encounter those issues in the real world. Yeah, exactly. But Timmy is a Nazi. Let's be real. Oh, God. I feel like everyone uses the little Timmy example. Now I do feel like think of how many kids who end up having kids because no one teaches them about sex education. This whole, if you think X, you're overly sensitive and it's facts, not indoctrination, is the same rhetoric as people like Ben Shapiro use. You realize you use the same cringy lines as the far right. It's not, okay, there's things that we can like if I tell you that gay people exist and you're going to probably encounter them in your life and you should probably like, these people are no different than you and we should probably just accept them. That's not indoctrination, right? Those are two different things. Like there's a difference between like things that you're teaching subjectively and that could be indoctrination, which I agree there's some of that on the left as well, of course, and I will critique that. But just telling kids that gay people exist in itself is not indoctrination. It's you're teaching them like about the world around them. That's going to be an objective fact. Whether they believe like gay people are real or not, they are going to be people who are gay in their like in the world, right? Like that's a dumb fucking argument. You wouldn't confuse me for Ben Shapiro, sorry. Sound the same. Oh, seems like you're closed-minded. All right, shit. My stream always has people infighting in the fucking chat.
I still let them duel.
Oh shit. You're gonna get far with that mindset. I mean, I think you're no different to act like these things shouldn't be like the fact that like you think that parents should take these issues like I don't agree with that. Like I think that's like to act like parents are ever going to teach these issues, right? Like when we can't even get parents to give their kids even decent sex education in most cases, like I don't know, man.
I'll be real, I don't know what either of them are arguing at this point.
It's not my opinion. Oh wait, so do you not think parents should take that role? Wait, I'm confused. Okay. Never mind. Bro, my family ain't ever said a thing about sex. I'm saying there's a large population of parents who feel strongly about keeping this out of school curriculums. Yeah, that's fine, but you can feel strong. That's like people saying, like, I feel strongly about, like, you know, we shouldn't teach about racism because, like, or, like, we shouldn't talk about, like, slavery because, like, it's gonna make my kids think that, like, their grandparents were, like, fucking, like, terrible people. But that's, like, not, like, just because you want it out of curriculum doesn't mean it should be out of curriculum, right? And again, like, some of the stuff isn't directly in curriculum. Right? Like, teaching about, like, gay people exist, it probably isn't in your curriculum, but you're going to have students ask those questions, and that's always going to exist. I'm saying you can't ignore their perspectives and call it ignorant. They will just pull their kids out of school and send them. Yeah, this I will agree with. I don't like the idea that we're just, like, sitting here and be like, everyone who disagrees with me is an ignorant or bigot, and they just need to get over themselves, because I don't think that, like, you progress, and this is, like, my problem with the left, is, like, this is not how you gain progress for anything, right? Like, by like this, and me and Rams were saying this, I think before either of you guys jumped in here, was like, you'll never get people like on your side by just being like completely disregarding them and saying like, oh, your opinion doesn't matter and you shouldn't have a voice on this because you disagree with me, right? Like that's such a stupid way to like engage in politics. That like if that's like if you want to engage like that, you're never gonna get anywhere, right? So like for like left-leaning people who like engage with conservatives and be like, oh, you're just wrong and like you're a bigot and you don't care, like you shouldn't have an opinion on this, like. You'll never get anywhere with that shit. It's a stupid mindset.
A quote-unquote perfect world is not a world where everything I believe is right is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's where like we're all at least like content with it.
And to be honest, most people talking about politics don't think about their positions enough or like critically engage with their positions enough to like know whether they're right or not. If you like avoid all pushback from the other side, if you like be like, I never want my ideas questioned by like conservatives because I think it's all bad faith engagement. If you can't even defend your like ideas against like a moderate like right-leaning person, I don't think your ideas are gonna hold up against like most scrutiny, because I think you like can't critically engage and like ever like analyze whether you're wrong on something, because you'll just never be questioned on it.
Yeah.
I think you have to be willing to like engage with people who disagree with you to like know if your positions are right. Because how else would you ever know if your like positions are right? Like if you think if you have a position that you feel strongly about, and then someone gives you pushback and you can't answer to that pushback, oh my bad.
You good? Just to go others.
If you can't even answer to that pushback, then like how would you ever think you have the right position if you can't even like engage with like some level of like disagreement, right? I will respond to comments when I die here for a second. Or if they die.
I don't know how I feel about like teaching kids about it at school, like teachers teaching kids about it. Only because like it's just like I don't know, because then you're putting it on one person to teach a class of kids.
Ah,
Right?
no, I fucked up. I went the wrong way. Oh my god.
And like yeah, you could have it in a quick. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It's almost probably not. I can finally let my homies hit it from the back this year. Wild. I mean, that's a good way to like, support the gays. I love it. Teachers are literally trained to teach things in a structured way that has been tested over the years to give the best results. The teachers would be the best people to learn the facts from, and then you can discuss more at home. Yeah, I would like somewhat agree with this. There's like shitty teachers out there, but like teachers are probably going to give you like the best, like probably more than your parents have understanding at like how to teach like difficult subjects, how to engage with like things, how to like answer questions. Teachers also see a lot more shit throughout their lives, so they can probably be more adept to like talk to you about different issues. In general, I don't think that's always the case, because there are obviously a lot of bad teachers out there, but like I like to believe a lot of our teachers are good, and like having like family that works in the education system, I like fundamentally believe most teachers are probably pretty good. She's calling you out. I have no issue with sex education is when it's taught like CRT isn't no on it. It's a when it should, but wait. I have no issue with sex education. It is when it is taught like CRT isn't no on it. It's just what age? Yeah, I would completely agree with this. Like you don't need to be talking about like having safe sex in like a grade 2 classroom. But you should probably teach like kids about their private parts and like the actual names, and be like, "Hey, if someone touches you here, like go to an adult like that you trust," and all this type of stuff. Like you should be having these type of conversations with like young kids and stuff like that. Like, but everything's got to be like just age graded like properly, right? And I completely agree with that. Teachers should never. It's not that I play both sides. It's that I take a moderate position that is like a decent view that most people can come to the table on. And I think that most people can agree with to like some extent, and that's like the only way you're gonna move forward. If you like go to the most extreme side and be like everything on the other side is like wrong, you're never gonna get anything done. I think you have to take a bit of a no, I'd say all my beliefs I espouse I agree with, and it's because I think they're like the best way to like move forward, the best way to progress. Teachers should never teach things in a secretive manner. Yeah, you probably shouldn't teach things in a secretive manner. Well, like if a student comes to you with like a particular question in confidence, then like that shouldn't be something that I think is most usually like exposed to parents. Like if I went to a teacher and said like, "Hey, I'm like struggling with my sexuality, and I don't feel comfortable going to anyone else," and like it's a teacher I really trust, and they like turned around and told other like my parents about it or like the principal about it, I think I'd feel super betrayed by that teacher. But if like you're teaching kids about like weird shit in the classroom and like not telling, and like then your like kids go home and like none of the curriculum asked for it, and like you're just doing this on your own and you're doing whole lesson plans about it, that's a little shady to me. But like I think those two are like, I don't know which one you're like dealing more with, because I know a lot of people's like issue like thing with the Florida bill, they're like, oh, they're like giving like rights back to the parents and stuff, and like, oh, you shouldn't be able to like talk to kids about things and not like tell the parents. It's like, no, I think kids deserve some level of like privacy, and if like a child doesn't feel comfortable coming to you with something, there's probably a reason why. If they're going to that teacher with it, they probably trust that teacher to like support them and like be a role model and a support system for them in like a place where they can't trust other people around them, right? And like I don't think you should like go and tell the like kids' parents, especially if like the kid themselves didn't feel comfortable enough telling the parent themselves. I think the parent, like the teacher, probably try to moderate that thing and like say like, hey, like you know, like how can we get you more comfortable? Like, can we bring your parents in? Can we get you a counselor? Like all this type of stuff. But I don't think like the first response should be like a teacher going towards like going to the parents and being like, your child told me this today. Can we talk about it? Like, yeah, I think that was like the big thing with the Florida bill that I really, really hated was the fact that it like forced teachers to like out students pretty much.
Hmm. I wish someone would tell me about like you know, a little bit of
thought you were about to
racism
say
and stuff like that
slavery.
when I was a kid. Huh?
I thought you were about to say slavery.
Yeah.
I
More
wish someone
importantly.
had told me about slavery as a kid.
No, because I don't. Because I in elementary had like the experience with like a teacher once, which always left a bad impression on me. And like as a kid, you don't know about like racism and stuff like that. So like you know you can't like it's such a foreign thing to you. And
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'm like, yo, you gotta like prepare your kids a little bit.
Like for like possibly like encounters.
Yeah, if they ever, especially if your kid is somewhere like they might encounter something.
Yeah, like if you're in like a predominantly like white town and like you're one of the only like brown or black
Yeah.
families there, like you should probably tell your kids like, hey, there might be situations where you feel unsafe or like, you know, where people make comments that make you feel uncomfortable or like you feel like you're being treated differently, and that's like it is a terrible thing, but it's something you have to be ready for because like not every person you meet who isn't like you is like going to be good, right? But
And that's where I'm also
Yeah.
at the at where like I'm like I don't know how much is on the teacher side because like if a teacher came to talk to me about that, and like majority of my teachers in elementary were like white people, right?
yeah.
I don't know how effective that would have been to me.
Yeah. And my other thing though with like a lot of these conversations is like people want to say like, oh, we need to add this into the curriculum and kids need to learn about this. It's like, dude, we're already struggling to fit in like the things that kids are like kids need in school, right? Like we're like barely fitting in the curriculum that we actually need. Like what do you want to take out and like exchange? Where do you want to like what do you want to like push aside and be like, we're going to put like race and gender critical issues in like in this spot, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like my other issue is like no one really knows how to implement it in like a way that like still like allows for like everything else that we want to teach in schools to be taught. And I think that's like and again, this is like from a point of view where I'm like, I know a lot of people in the education system and I know it's how hard it is for them like to like changing curriculum and like all this type of stuff and trying to fit in new things because like there's kids like our education system, especially in the States, has like gotten worse and worse because like it's just getting harder and harder because we have like, you know, things are getting harder and like there's kids now like who are getting out of kindergarten who don't know the full alphabet and stuff because like you're getting
There's
like
so much.
there's bigger class sizes, there's less support for teachers, like there's more to teach, there's like curriculum that keeps changing, like there's so many other issues to like try to fit in like more stuff on top of that, especially at young ages when like kids just need to learn their like foundational skills. I don't know. I like that's also my other thing is like coming at this from like an education perspective. Most years my teachers would give us a syllabus and have us take it home and it had information on like what we'd be learning and the books we'd use and our parents sign it, bring it back. I'm totally fine with that. I think like usually I'm like that type of thing I'm okay with. Like if you're like able to like, you know, send like a general like syllabus of the year down to parents, it's probably good. Because I think that's also good for parents who want to engage with the academia with their kids. Like you want to like, you know, I want to know like what my kids are going to be learning so that I can talk to them about it at home and be like, hey, like what are you learning right now? Like let's like what are the books you're reading? Like all that type of stuff. I think it's really cool for like parents to be really involved in their kids like academic life if they can be, obviously. Like because I think having parents who are involved with like kids academics like at home make for like a better like support system for the kids, right? Like if your parents like super like, you know, involved in your education and like making sure that like they know what you're learning, they like know your teachers and all that type of stuff, like it makes a huge difference to that kid, and their like academic outcomes. So I don't mind like having a syllabus that goes home, but like I think that like if you have a parent that like is like, I don't want my kid learning about like X issue, it's like, well, you don't get a say in that. We're sending this home as like a, you know, this is what we are this is what we are learning. Like I'm totally fine with that, but I don't think parents should be able to come in and be like, I don't want my kid learning this subject. And it's like, no, your kid's in school, your kid's gonna learn that subject with us. Oh, this character has terrible defense. Moderate
So
the
if how you think? Okay, like in your opinion, how should it go if a parent doesn't necessarily agree with it being with whatever is being taught?
what do you like your kid's in public school? What do you mean? I don't like
Like,
there's like very
no,
What, you want us to take your kid out of class for that, like, section and be like, you don't get to learn this because your parents don't agree with it? Like,
So you say that like shouldn't even be a concern?
honestly, probably not. If your kid's, like, going to public education and we're saying, like, this is, like, the curriculum your kid probably needs, like, that we've decided that, like, as a state that your kid needs, like, going forward in their life, like, yeah, that probably...
Yeah.
I don't know if, like... I think there can be, like, staff and PAC meetings where, like, parents have input with, like, you know, like the academic boards and stuff like that with like educational boards, and be like, you can have parents and the education board come together and be like, hey, like, I don't know if this is like necessary, or like maybe we should teach this instead of that. Like, that's how we got a lot of indigenous issues like talked about in textbooks and stuff, because like, you know, people advocated for it because they're like, hey, I think this stuff needs to be taught, and like there's like other things that we teach that are like probably not as important, and I think we could replace those with this. That's like a totally fine thing to have, but like just have a parent come in and be like to a teacher being like, hey, I don't want my kid learning this section. It's like, no, you don't get to take your kid out of my classroom for like 1 hour a day because we're learning about a subject that you don't feel comfortable with. Like, you know, this is like the state requires that your kid learns this. Like, if you don't want them learning it, if you want more say, go to a fucking private school, have fun, or like go join your parent
Homeschool.
or join your PAC, like join the parent association for your school. You know, advocate for like things you want in and out of the curriculum. But if you're not willing to put in the work to like have these things like changed in the curriculum because you don't think they're necessary or you don't like them, like, you know, then don't expect people to change around you. Put in the work to like have these things changed. It's the same thing I would say to anyone else. Moderate the ability to... Oh, wait. Oh, fuck, I have one more life. God damn it, I want to get to the comments. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh my god, there's two of them. Why do you keep dying, Rams?
Oh, because I was thinking about my childhood and I got sad.
Oh, me too. Actually, no, my childhood was okay up until like a certain age.
No, I had a stupid teacher in elementary school who like said a bunch of shit that like at the time was like weird, and then as you grow up more, like it's like even weirder, right? And it's just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see. Moderate the
She's a
ability...
bitch. Fuck
Nice.
that person.
Moderate the ability to compromise, which has social progress, has been happening for centuries. Change happens in increments for a reason, so everyone can adapt and not just small group of extremists. Yeah, that's something I agree with. I think like the way we've moved throughout history is like been like in like you fight for like the next thing, and this is like kind of like what I was talking about like earlier with like my step analogy is like if you have a 10-step plan to like your ideal society and you're advocating for step 1, and then like half the group like that you're advocating with starts advocating for step 5, it's like you're never going to get anywhere if like half your group is advocating for step 5 before you even get people on board with step 1. I think you need to like move in increments, and as much as people hate that being like, oh, progress needs to happen faster, like people are suffering, it's like that's not how society works. You're never going to have things happen in like major blocks and just like have things shift all very suddenly. And I don't think you would want to. I think society would like start to collapse a little bit if you had things move like that. People are group likeness oriented. If in the minority it doesn't take much to feel vulnerable, in the majority it doesn't take much to take it for granted. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I think most people like have some level of tribalism, but I think like again, it's one of those things where if you like grew up around a lot of people who are different than you, like you probably don't notice it as much. But if you grew up in like a small town where like most people are like one race and you're like a different race, you're probably going to feel that really, really hardcore, because it's one of those things where like you'll feel like the out group immediately, and like those people will probably have less like this is like why like the South is probably more racist than like people up in the North, is because like there's a lot more diversity in the North, whereas like in the South there's not that much diversity. If you're not exposed to different types of people, you're less likely to be like a progressive person and like be like super accepting of different types of people because you're just not exposed to it the same way. I think that's like...
I have to say the whole South, because there is some parts of the South that like are more diverse, and you can
Even
see there that like there is more acceptance there.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the thing, right? Like it's like natural for humans to know what they're around.
Yeah.
We've already failed by failing. We've already failed by failing into the rights trap of making the issue either race, gender, military. Repeat instead of how we should fix socioeconomic and income inequality, college tuition, etc. It's all noise to distract from real issues that are dividing us at the end of the day. It's easy to get bent out of shape. Okay, I would agree the right hyperfixated on stupid issue, but don't act like the left also doesn't hyperfixate on these stupid issues. Right? Like, I feel like we used to talk a lot about like socioeconomic inequality or like, you know, education inequality. But like, it feels like more people now are like constantly talking about like gender issues on their stream, or like how bad white people are. Like to act like this isn't like happening on both sides, where people want to talk about these like really fun, like trendy political topics and social issues, rather than talk about like real systemic change. It happens on both sides. It 100% happens, like, from the left and the right. Oh my god. Oh my god. They sometimes would have a kid do a different topic if this section involved religion. Oh, yeah, but that's stupid to me. Like, no. I think, like, well, first of all, I don't think religion should be taught in, like, public schools in any way that's not non-secular. Or, yeah. Or
Stop
anything
fucking
that's...
making kids sing the fucking national anthem.
Yeah, I don't think you should be forced to. Yeah.
I just never liked singing it on Mondays. I was just that stupid.
Did you guys do that even in, like, did we do that in Canada? Did you guys do that? We did it at assemblies, but not every, like, week. It was, like, at, like, school assemblies, like, once, like, every 2 months kind of thing. They would play the national anthem. But you didn't have to sing if you didn't want to.
We sang every week.
You guys did it every
Monday.
week? What the fuck school did
We
you
did it, even in high school.
No, we did not.
Yes. Was it every week or every month? I'm pretty sure it was every week. During tag, they would make a stand for the national anthem.
Did I skip too much school to remember this? What the fuck? Oh!
But it's not like not sing necessarily, but you had to either. Well,
we stood every day, no? Wait, did we?
But,
no.
but
no,
yeah,
shot. Why don't I remember this? Did we actually do this
not
every day?
It's definitely not every day.
Maybe it was like every Friday or something? Fuck, maybe we did.
I'm pretty sure it was once a
Wait,
week.
this is like kind of... I remember this happening at the beginning of high school. I don't remember at the end of high school, but now I'm thinking maybe I just didn't show up to high school enough at the end of my like high school
to
career.
notice. No,
maybe not, because I skipped tag for like the last like 2 years of our high school career. I like was never in tag class.
If you're American, tag is our homeroom.
Our homeroom class, yeah.
Just 10 minutes a day where you just...
Like go to your like base class.
Yeah,
and, like, you just check in with your
and you
teacher.
can either cram for homework or what you're actually supposed to be there for is just get whatever news or whatever going on in school.
I had my tag teacher. I would always like, cause like for the last like year of high school, I just like never showed up to tag because I had like spare blocks and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not walking all the way to school just to like go to like a fucking 10-minute homeroom thing. So at first, I would text my friend Sean and be like, hey, can you tell our tag teacher that like, I'm at school, I'm just like in the other room, and my tag teacher was super chill, so he'd usually like mark me there. But after a while I just gave up because I realized my parents didn't care if I skipped school that much, because they're like, your grades are really high. You know, I was doing really well in school, so it was like one of those things where my parents was like, as long as your grades stay up, I don't care if you go to school or not.
There was no way it's every day. If it was every day, I would have rioted. There was no way it was
I always got caught standing in the hall. Billiam said it was every day. Maybe it was every day. Now I feel like it was every day.
When? It can't be on tag every day. It couldn't be.
Fuck, maybe it was every day. Holy shit.
No, it couldn't be. It legit couldn't be.
Maybe we both skip school too much. Maybe we just have worse memories than everyone else. We just have like significantly worse memories of.
Well, you thought we didn't say it at all.
Yeah, okay, shut up. Now it sounded familiar after you're like, oh, once a week, and I'm like, oh, I do kind of like have vague memories of like them playing the national anthem.
There was no shot this happened every day.
God, we're stupid, bro.
No shot. Hey, wait, are you with William to ask, like...
She just said Will said it was every day.
In school, isn't one of the siblings in school ask them or some shit? Or if you're at your home, ask your brother, Michelle.
But the left has Bernie who campaigned on socioeconomic issues. There's no one like Bernie on the right. The right has... No, I mean, to be fair, arguably, Bernie is like a left-wing populist, right? And like there's a lot of populists on the right as well. Like, just because they campaign on certain issues, it's like they both have like a populist campaign. But anyway, that's a different thing. There's no one like Bernie on the right. The right has to use culture war issues to galvanize their base, where a large section of the left will be excited by $15 an hour. $15 like an hour minimum wage is also like a culture issue. If you think $15 minimum wage across like federally across the states is like feasible, you're stupid. My point is, educated lefties support the LGBT issues because, but would be way more excited for the socioeconomic changes. That's something that the right does not offer and can't. I would disagree with you hardcore here. I think like lefties get really like excited about certain key issues that they think are like super interesting, and it's like if you talk about like student debt forgiveness, they get super hyped up. But if you talk about like, oh, let's like find better, like, you know, what if there's other ways to solve like, you know, student debt issues, because really, student debt is like one of the stupidest things to focus on. Like, it actually is. Like, student debt forgiveness is like it's a pipe dream. It's stupid. It's like it is not something you guys should be focusing on. But like every lefty talks about it right now, and it's like it is such a, just because it's an economic issue does not mean it's not like a cultural like like pop fun political issue, and to act like that's like it isn't.
Wait, okay, so because I don't know too much about this, the whole cancel student debt or whatever, right? Is that just to like cancel the current student debt and shit? Is that what
Pretty
they're
much,
trying to
like
do? Some
anyone who has
shit.
student debt right now is just be canceled.
Was there anything else for that, or just that?
I mean, as far as I know, it's pretty much just that.
That okay? Even if I was in there, I wouldn't be behind that shit.
Just call me and think I
That's
brought
so
up stupid. Great. I mean,
that's so stupid. Wait, so it's like we're not gonna fix the issue. We're just gonna put a bandage on the issue that
yeah,
was
that's
already
what I mean. That's
happening.
what me and what's his face were talking about the other day. Is like it's
That's
me
stupid.
and Brady were talking about this the other day. We were saying like it's such a band-aid like fix for like a really like big issue. It's like yeah, there probably should be better ways that we can like talk about like how can people get like college educated without breaking their fucking bank.
That's
But like
shutting them up for like 10 years until the
yeah,
now there
but
are
like
more people
student
in
debt
debt. Like what
forgiveness
the
is not
fuck?
the way to do it, and like to act like everyone like because all the people who support student debt forgiveness is like this is such a
Because a lot
band-aid
of
like
people were supporting this shit. What the?
yeah, that's what
That's
I'm saying. This is why I hate like stuff like
what
that
the
because they're like
fuck.
really like pop political like answers to like things that sound really good on paper. It's like oh like student debt forgiveness like you know like these like people are suffering
I'm a
like
moron, and I understand that that's not a good thing.
that yeah. I'm not saying that like I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying it's like moronic to think that these aren't like like pop political issues like the same way that like the right focuses on like key issues is like galvanizing things. It's like the left does the same thing. It's like we need the $15 minimum wage. People were pissed when Biden didn't push through the $15 minimum wage, but it was like this wasn't a good like this wasn't something we should have been pushing for. You could argue to bring the federal wage up, but like to act like the whole like all of the states needs the same federal minimum wage, and that like it was like feasible for the whole of the states to like have a $15 minimum wage. I just don't think was like as far as like from the economic people that I saw talking about these things, it was just not like it's not like a good way to like go about like talking about minimum wage across the states. Hi Weston M18. Hi. Yeah. Sorry. That was like a long rant, but like if you want to respond to any of that. I'm sure you're typing, so I was like, I'm not pushing to respond, but yeah. But most of like a lot of times like the things that we advocate for just aren't as feasible as like people think they are. People are like, oh, like we have all this money, we should just take it away from like this budget and put it towards this. It's like student debt is a lot, and like to act like student debt is also one of those things that like when we talk about it, instead of taking what I said as an example of what I meant by socioeconomic issues, you just say that you're stupid. So that's cool. I mean, you're calling them socioeconomic issues, but they're not, right? When we talk about socioeconomic issues, you're talking about like broad sweeping policy that would like change the socioeconomic outcomes. You're not talking about like student debt forgiveness isn't like a socioeconomic issue. You're talking about like a one-time policy thing that like, you know, forgives all this debt, but like not talking about any of the consequences of it. So like, I'm saying like lefties advocate for it. Thank you. I mean, like, you can get Askman in chat, but I'm telling you why these aren't good policies to advocate for, and they're not socioeconomic changes. Socioeconomic changes is like a policy that's like ongoing, right? And even the $15 minimum wage is like arguably a little bit more socioeconomic thing, but it was a bad policy to like try to push for, and people getting mad when Biden didn't push it through was like such a like it was never feasible in the first place, like to ask for like a $15 minimum wage across the states, right? Because like you're just disparity of living costs across the state was so different. And expect like a small business and like the buttfuck nowhere of like US to be able to pay their employees $15 minimum wage was really unrealistic. So like it wasn't gonna pass in legislatively, right? I mean I'm giving like you okay, sorry, I got like a little bit like hyper mad. Sorry, I'm like a little hyperbolic sometimes, but like there's like legitimate reasons I have issues with like people pushing for these like really extreme like they don't seem extreme in like in the way that they're presented, but extreme in like actually like putting them through. What are your some favorite members? I'm not American. I don't know names of Congress members. I've heard names and like things, but I don't like look at individual Congress members. I'm talking about more about like broad issues. I don't care about individual members of Congress as much because I'm not in the state, so I don't like vote on these things. Where are you from? I'm Canadian. Let's go! Fellow Canadian boy. We love it. I love when Canadians find my channel. Makes me happy. Yeah, I think I talk about broader social issues and then like some level of policy. A lot of the stuff I do on this channel is also like legal stuff because that's like where my like real knowledge is. But like when I talk about like social issues, like I do a lot of like advocacy and I do want like things to progress in society. I just find the way that like a lot of times like the left advocates for progress doesn't actually do anything to like push progress forward. Politics is doing what it's meant to: crush small business, keep monopolies going, $15 an hour, crush some small business. The excuse, well, they can't afford to be a company. Yeah, no, but it's like that's the thing is like across the states, like livable wages are so different. Like the average income is so different. For like a business in California is like much more likely to adapt to like a $15 minimum wage than like somewhere in like, I don't know, Nashville, Tennessee or something like that, right? Like these are vastly different places across the states. And not all of them are going to be able to adapt to like a $15 minimum wage, and not all of them need to adapt to a $15 minimum wage. If your cost of living is like significantly less in a place like you know, like middle of nowhere like the US, then like you're not going to need a $15 minimum wage to like live like a decent like, or to like have have your like expenses paid for, right? Like to even like pay rent and all that type of stuff. Whereas like somewhere in like California or San Francisco, like the minimum wage would need to be higher because your cost of living is so high. The way you play both sides is masterful without saying anything specific or taking an actual stand on anything. Cinema would blush. If we debated and scored on factual answers, I would win in a landslide, but right now it's people who say a lot of nothing who think progress needs to be essentially haunted because some people aren't ready for it. I'm not... If you ask me my positions on anything, I can give you like a direct answer on like what my actual positions are, right? Like if you ask me like what are my positions on like gay rights, trans rights, like race issues, like there's things that I can give you direct answers on. But when I talk about advocacy, you do have to talk about like most of the country, like Canada included. Canada and US are both like kind of 50-50 split on how people vote and how people like, you know, see these issues. If you don't advocate in a moderate way and in a way that like people will get on board with you, you're never going to like actually progress anywhere. Like to act like it's, I think to act like it's like this thing where we can like keep pushing and pushing and pushing and eventually we'll just get there, I don't think is like a reasonable expectation. $15 is a placeholder for whatever the regional or city wage needs to be. Per $15 would be step one on a progress map. So hypocritical. Wait, I'm confused by that statement. You could $15 a placeholder for whatever the regional or city wage needs to be. Can you explain that a little bit further, maybe? I was way excited to argue with you, but you're way too reasonable. Yeah. I mean, I try to be reasonable in like the way I talk about issues because I think I want people from both sides to be able to like kind of come together here and like talk about these issues in a way that like gets people on board. Like if I can get like a few more people to like accept gay people or like get on board with trans rights and stuff like that, that'd be great. But like it's like one of those things where I'm not gonna like harp down somebody's throat for like being like, I don't know how I feel about trans people and call them like a scream and call them a bigot and be like, you know, like I don't, because I just don't think that's like how you should advocate for stuff. Beltrain is a hardcore racist and knows that he loves playing nice with the cute girl. If only you knew, Rex. Wait, do you two know each other? Are you trolling me now? I feel like I feel like you're like slightly trolling me, but I cannot tell. Why are you even still up? Wait, why do you guys know each other? Oh god, am I like... Are people gonna get mad at me for like flirting with a racist or something? What's happening? Yeah, no, that's major oh, okay. Do you guys know each other? Beldrain? Is he like... I can't tell if Astro's like trolling me now or not. But I could be wrong. I feel like this is like... I feel like I've been like trolled for the last 20 minutes now all of a sudden. Fuck. I try to, like, see, that's the thing, it's like, it's hard to troll me because I'll like engage with anyone who comes on my page even if you sound like someone that I I hardcore disagree with on stuff. Like I'll try to like directly engage with people as much as possible, like if I disagree with them or if I agree with them, like whether you're left wing or right wing, because I want to engage with like every position because I think it's important. But like if like I don't know if I'm just being trolled or not. I just try to be nice and like talk to everyone who comes in my channel, okay? I want to talk about stuff with like anyone. I don't care what side of the political aisle. I don't care what you advocate for. I will have like a discussion with you. But I support almost all trans rights. I'm still struggling with the sports issue. Yeah, I think there's like I support all trans rights. I think there's like things that like when we talk about like certain topics, you can like have a little bit more of a nuanced opinion, right? Like I think like like some level of nuance in like certain conversations, like in specific topics, you can probably talk about, right? Like with like the transport issues, there's probably more nuance than just like in most of like our social setting, like trans women or women is like a totally fine statement. But when it comes to sports, you probably need to like dive a little bit more into like, you know, the like specifics of a case or scenario, right? Like and that's totally fine. And I don't think that's like something that should be shunned of just saying like, hey, I think we could like talk about this issue a little bit more and like expand on like what the actual policy around like this like issue should be. I'm a toxic rightoid, so I'm all the bad the right is. Oh. Wait, wait, now I'm like genuinely curious. Do you guys know each other from like somewhere else? Because it sounds, I'm like, wait, somebody answer this for me. Do you two know each other? Have you been in my chat together before? I'm so confused.
Are you like an 80-year-old married couple?
Yeah, wait, can you imagine? They're just like married IRL and like they just like hate each other and like go in Twitch streamers chats to argue. That'd be kind of funny. That's a wholesome story though. Or not wholesome, but like, it would be kind of a funny sitcom. Trolling is just challenging her and it's a positive cause and force for you to face those opinions, even if they're just joking. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Michelle. She gets me. I've been banned from numerous far left streams. Oh, god damn it.
Are you foreshadowing?
Wait, I gotta ask. Are you banned from like people like Keffels, or are you banned from people like Destiny and Vosh? Because I think those are like two things. Like if Keffels bans you, I think I'm banned in Keffels chat, and that's just because I follow Dylan Burns. But like all of these people are on the left, but like it depends on like if you're banned from like someone like Dylan Burns chat, then I'm like a little bit more sus of you. But like if you're banned from someone like Keffels or like Demon Mama, I like understand because it's a little bit easier to get banned there for like very moderate things. I won't judge you. I'm not going to ban you from my chat for being banned from other people. I'm just like...
Unless you think that we stand for the national anthem every day in school, you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm engaged with you, like, you're definitely on the right, and I don't agree with all your positions, but I'll, like, be happy to have a conversation with you if, like, you come into my chat. Most people who come into my chat, if they engage in good faith and, like, try to... I try to engage in good faith back. Sometimes, I mean, I got a little heated with Astro there just because I've talked about these issues enough that I've, like, just kind of gotten, like, fed up with, like, talking about them. Like, some, like, the student debt forgiveness one, like, really irks me. I'm banned in Myth Politics, but not... I don't know who Mythic Politics is. I've heard the name. I don't know who they are. But anyway, I don't know. I wouldn't... I mean, unless you do some crazy shit in my chat, I mean, then I'll ban you, but, like... I don't think I hand out bans easily just because... Oh. We'll see. I guess we'll see how you behave in the future. If you start saying some like crazy racist shit in my chat, obviously you're getting banned, but if you're just like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this issue, then you're fine. Where did my cloth go? My glasses are fucking oily again. I swear to God, I like shoot oil out of my eyes. My glasses get oily from me just sitting here. And I haven't even touched them.
Your new discovery of microfiber cloth.
No, it's like the specific kind, the car cleaning kind. Because there's like different microfiber cloths.
I don't... Is there?
Yes, because they
maybe
feel different. They
quality.
look different. They're like a different knit level. They're different. Why is my mouse not working? What the fuck is happening? Oh, there we go.
Idiot.
Oh my god, he fucking smoked me, bro.
Oh, you could have come back. You gotta shift up.
I think I pressed A instead of shift there, to be honest. Oh, I think Esther left my chat. Oops. Oh shit. No! I fucked up!
You want
I tossed
kamikaze?
myself. I yeeted myself out the side. Yeah. I think Astro left my chat. I guess maybe. Oh, maybe got a little too spicy. I'm sorry. I try not to like get spicy with people. I think like certain issues like kind of piss me off. Like the student debt forgiveness thing really like bothers me when people talk about it because I think like it's such a it is like you said, it's such a band-aid solution to such like an actual like big problem in the States. Like Canada,
Well,
like
but it's like it's also just like people like because I know a lot of people that were behind it, and just that's alarming.
that's what I'm
That
saying.
you not to call people stupid, but you fell for that.
It's
That
like
doesn't
I
mean you're
think they want
stupid,
like
but you
student debt
definitely fell
forgiveness
for
with
a
like
trap if you believe that.
I think they want like student debt forgiveness first and then like free education after that, like free college tuition kind of thing. But like I don't even think like I would agree with that. I think it just needs to be like a little bit cheaper because in the States it's really expensive. Like okay, my average school year cost about $7,500, right? Because like each of my
Yeah.
semesters is anywhere from like 25 to 3,500 for a semester, and I have 3 semesters in a year. But like in the States, I know people who are paying like for a base school, not even a top tier school, 17 grand a year. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where like that's crazy expensive.
I
And I don't
also
think
think
anyone.
personally, I think a big issue is like the having different schools be looked at differently. Like, oh, this school is more pristine, and this that.
Yeah, I would actually partially agree with that even, but like it depends
That's
on like their level
stupid.
of.
Because if there is more pristine school, it shouldn't be affecting, the outlook on you. More or less, just like what kind of education you want. And the more pristine school should just cost more money just
Well,
for
that's like one of those
having
things that's just
more
like
resources or whatever
yeah, it's
provided. Versus like there should be like not budgeted but more reasonably priced schools to get into that are
yeah.
still looked at as the same.
I would agree, but like I would also agree more with this like maybe 40 years ago. But like now we like look at Harvard and stuff like that. Like Harvard used to be have its prestige because it was a really hard like very like
School to get
educate
in.
like the school produced like crazy like good outcomes. Like the students were really like top tier. Like Harvard got its prestige for a reason, or like these like top tier
Yeah.
schools get their prestige for a reason. But the thing is now, like Harvard is easier to pass through than fucking SFU and UBC. Like there's like they did a ranking list of like schools of like difficulty to like pass and get a degree versus like Harvard
Oh,
and University of
what I do.
Toronto. Oh, University of Toronto had a harder was harder to get a degree out of than Harvard, which is crazy. And it's like Harvard
Right.
still has all this prestige. So yeah, I would completely agree that the prestige thing is like really stupid. I think you should be able to walk out of any school with like a degree and be able to get a job. Like I don't think but like also like I think generally like lowering like cost of tuition should probably be like a universal thing. Stop treating universities like businesses, and treat them like school
I heard most, not
institutions of
most, but a lot
education.
of the money that is like from tuition and everything goes to just keeping the school running. Because there's so many
No,
like different
because I'll tell
resources
you
and
right
all
now,
that.
the people at the top take such a huge like sum of money. Like
Damn.
even like look at UBC, bro. The reason like they have so many international students, I'm just saying they make a lot of fucking money off international students, and like
Yeah.
they like the only reason that they like spend as much money as they do is because they like their budget get cut if they don't spend all the money they get from the government. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's like it's ridiculous amounts of money. It's why they keep like breaking down and like rebuilding buildings. Okay, it's crazy. But yeah, it's like fuck. Like America has so many more issues than just like forgiving student. Also, most people don't understand how like student like what percent of student debt actually like makes sense to forgive because like most of people like college graduates fare better in like in their economic outcomes than most other groups in society because like with more education you have more job opportunities. Those kids like end up making more money than most other groups in society. It's like why are we forgiving like student debt on like a like medical school costs a lot of money, but you're also one of the highest earners in society and has like the best like ability to like pay it off. Should it be as much as
Yeah.
it is? I don't think medical school should be as much as it is because you want to incentivize
I
people.
don't think if you look at any doctor that's practicing right now, I don't think they regret any of that or they like are completely mad because like they're probably doing really well right now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's like one of those
But
things. It's like these like there's people in society that we need to take care of more than like fucking
yeah,
college graduates. You know what I mean? Like if people also need to like learn how to make like we need to teach how to like make better economic decisions, like how to like like what level of student debt to take on when you should be taking on student debt. And then also, I think the way that we tax, like, or not tax, God, what's it called? What's it when, like, not intro, What is it when like the prices on things like or like when you don't pay back like a
The
loan?
interest.
Interest,
Or
thank you.
yeah.
Like fucking interest on like student debt is like crazy up in the States, right? Where like in Canada, like there's limits and you can't keep increasing it. And like if you like get a student degree and like you know you tell the bank like you can like delay your payments and all that type of stuff without having there be interest. Like Canada has really good policies around like student debt, which is why we don't have the same issues as the States. The States doesn't have those same policy when it comes to like how you have to like pay back student debt, which is why they have so many more issues. Sorry, I was like playing and I forgot what I was gonna say. It's like one of those things where like the policies around it are so much like worse in the States that those things need to be addressed rather than just being like we're gonna forgive student debt. Like no, make better policies, like make better ways for students to get educated without being like fucking in debt for the next like 10 years after. You know what I mean? There's better ways to like to deal with these issues than just being like the most extreme and be like, oh, this sounds really cool, and like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this sounds awesome, like student debt forgiveness. I don't want to pay my debts. Like you get a lot of people on board with a really dumb idea, and then like you never get it, and then you're like, they don't care about like, you know, they're trying to like, they don't care about students and stuff. It's like, no, this is just a terrible policy that you're advocating for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I look at that as the same thing as like the government over here being like, yeah, for like whatever 2 or whatever years, we're not gonna let overseas buyers. It's just like
For 2 years, good
you
job.
want to say you're doing something without doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Enough time for the market to re-regulate and then like let them back in, basically.
Yeah.
It's the same
It's
reason
like you're
I'm
not
kind
gonna
of
do anything
against
to
like.
stop the problem. We're just gonna, you know.
It's why I also hate the idea
yeah.
of like reparations for like different like minority groups, because it's like, why would I just be like, let's give these people like, you know, a lump sum of money rather than like fix the economic institutions around them so that these people fare better in society overall, rather than just being like, here's like 100,000 or like not even 100,000. No one's getting 100,000. Well, it's like here's like $1,500 as your reparations, like back into society you go, rather than just like use that money to like build better institutions, build like programs where people can have, you know, better outcomes and like there's a lot of things you can do better. I'm like explaining this very generalized, obviously. I could give you more specified examples if I went into this, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's like better options than like the most like unrealistic thing that you're advocating for.
Yeah.
True, they're a later us problem. Political tribalism is a joke. Conservatives made progress. The left has good intent, but when it comes to means justifying ends, I'm not okay with the sinister means. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would agree with that. I don't think most people are trying to go through this with sinister. I don't think it's sinister means. I think it's like unviable means. I think like the way that people want to move usually, and like the speed which we want to move at, is like the problem, rather than just being like, it's like no one's trying to do this for like bad reason or bad intentioned reasons. It's just like it's the way that you go about it is like probably not always feasible at the time. Any debt forgiveness is going to make inflation even worse. Yeah, probably. Student debt in Canada is you have 5 years after grad to pay it off before it starts accumulating interest. And in theory, if you get a useful degree, you should be able to pay it off. Yeah. I know there's something to like, if you get like a job within your degree, like at a certain point, like you also, I don't know if you can delay it. I don't know. There's like other, like, there's a lot of benefits you can get around this stuff in like Canada. And I just don't know them all because like, I'm not in the financial position to need all of that, but like, cause I'm probably pretty well, like my family's pretty like decently well off right now. So, so we're like, I don't worry about that stuff as much, but I know there's like people who I know
Not
like
immediate concern.
yeah, exactly. It's not stuff that I've like super looked into, but like from people like that I know who did have to pay for their own like college or tuition and stuff like that. Like I've heard from them like how much better it is, and like then I talk to people in the States, and it's like, yeah, I'm like fucked for the next 10 years of my life because I paid 17 grand per year for 4 years, and now I gotta spend the next 10 years paying this off with like interest accumulating, and it's like, damn, that's fucked. Do you want to play some Tetris?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of crazy shit. Maybe see, this is the other thing is like I'll talk and sit here and like have like lefty positions, but like right wing people come into my chat and like have a decent like conversation, and like even if we disagree, they'll be like, you know, I'll go back and forth with them. Like I thought Astro was trolling for a second, but then when they left, I'm like starting to realize I'm like, oh no, you actually got like upset that I like said things that you disagreed with, and now you like pieced out. It's like I think sometimes it's really hard to engage with like lefties anymore because like as soon as like you like have any like decent disagreement with them, at least like with their main positions, I like sometimes like I feel like they're more quick to shut down conversations. I used to not feel this way because I used to feel like conservatives did this a lot, but now I feel like it's shifting the other way where conservatives are more likely to engage and like lefties are less likely, and it sucks.
Everybody just needs to have more of a fuck you respectfully mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, if you don't agree with me, fuck you respectfully. Doesn't mean like, yo, you're a bad person, but fuck
Yeah,
you respectfully.
respectfully. That's the important part. You just gotta do it respectfully. And in theory, if you, oh yeah, I don't know. What the fuck is the whole? I feel like everyone just pieced out of my chat because I went on like a long rant. Oh, they wanted to, they wanted me banned and it didn't happen, so they got annoyed. Yeah, I don't know. Do you like? Wait, no one ever asked my question. Do you know each other from like other chats? Have you guys like talked before? I'm so confused. That was like I wanted a question. I wanted an answer on that. Was it because they know you've been banned in other chats, or was like, can I get an answer on that?
I doubt it if he left and one of them says. One of them goes to one of them says.
I've seen them around. Oh shit!
Damn, y'all really be out here on Twitch, huh?
Damn. I mean, to be fair, Twitch politics is like a little bit smaller. So if you're like really vocal on like a couple like different Twitch politics streamers, like people in the community will know you. Like there's a couple people on like Twitter that like they're in like one or two people like they're like really they're not like a Twitch streamer themselves, but they're a really big follower. Like do I call them out? I don't think I should. I don't care. I think there's a person named Gayfesh, and they're like yeah. But they're like really, really like they're really vocal like follower of like certain Twitch politics person. But I don't think they. Oh, maybe they do stream actually. They might stream themselves. Is there any big right wing streamers on Twitch?
It's
Not.
dangerous in these Twitch streams. Treats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any like big ones. I don't want to say like I don't know how big. Like you could talk about like the like YouTube. It's probably like there's a few more big conservatives. Like you have like Shapiro and Crowder and all them. But on Twitch, I don't know. I think it's harder to be like a right wing person on Twitch because Twitch's moderation is super, super intense. Yeah, I don't watch as many right-wing content. I watch a lot of my content like people who dual stream, so I watch a lot of YouTube. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I think it's just like generally harder to be like a conservative in the Twitch space. So, I'm trying to think if there's any like, I don't know if I mean, Hake is kind of a crazy, crazy man, but I think he does Twitch. I don't know. I watch like Dylan Burns panels, like I don't know if any of you guys watch like Dylan Burns. He does like the weekly like Twitch debates, and like there's usually conservatives on there, and I don't know, they must all be on Twitch because like, well, actually I don't know if they all have to be, as long as they're not banned on Twitch. That's the only thing that matters. But there's like some decent, I guess. I don't know. I just don't watch right wing streamers because I don't care. No, that sounds mean. It's not that I don't care. It's like I mostly interact with like left wing stuff because I think that's like where my advocacy stands, obviously. So it's like more important for me to like look at those issues from that side rather than like I don't care what conservatives are saying at the moment because like I just focus on myself, you know. No, I fucked up. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
White rig streamers stream on YouTube with Twitch as an additional exposure. Yeah, probably 100%. I think Twitch's like moderation is like super heavy, so I think like there's just less right wing streamers that get like big on Twitch. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you. There's probably some.
Your game is. I mean, do you want to show your game on Twitch?
What? Oh shit!
Yeah.
God damn
Yeah.
it! Thank you. I turned it off when I was like just changing screens. My bad. We're out to Tetris now. Yeah, but I think like I don't know. I used to watch more right wing streamer or not streamers like content creators because I think it was like important to like if you're gonna do political advocacy, you need to know the like arguments that your political opponents would be making. So like if I'm like watching like only left wing streamers, it would be stupid because it's like I would never know what like if I only engage with like right wing or left wing content, it's like well I'm never gonna know what like the right wing is saying and like I'm never gonna have arguments against what they're like proposing. Whereas like if I used to engage with like a lot more of that content and now it's just like I know a lot of the right wing arguments, I know a lot of like what they're proposing, like a lot of the bills and stuff. I follow more like legal stuff. So like bills passing, cases happening, stuff like that. I think that's probably a lot more. Oh shit, I fucked up. A little bit more important than like watching just like content creators now for me. So, whereas like left wing content creators, I just genuinely enjoy. So like I watch big right wing streamers like Destiny Caliber. No. Do you think Destiny is right wing? Oh, like to the size of Destiny's channel. Oh. Yeah, no, not on Twitch. But to be fair, Destiny's technically off Twitch now too. But like on YouTube, you have like people like Crowder. Crowder's pretty big. I don't know how much Shapiro does on YouTube anymore. Does Shapiro just still do YouTube? I think yeah, obviously he still does, right? He has this whole thing. He has this whole show he does, right? So yeah, I think like people like that still exist like on YouTube. Destiny got nuked everywhere. Yeah. Unfortunately. I super like this content. I found him through YouTube, so I didn't really. I mean, obviously it sucks that his Twitch got banned, but it didn't bug me much because I watch him on YouTube already, so it didn't bother me. Because I watch everything on YouTube. Because when I watch videos, I don't like going. I need one platform where all of my content exists, so like I just use YouTube. I watch Hassan a bit every now and then, and until he triggers me, then I leave. Yeah. I think anyone who's been in my stream more than 1 or 2 times knows how much I hate Hassan Piker, so yeah.
Just a very broad man.
I dislike him very much. I won't say hate, but I would say hate, but I'll be nice today. But I dislike him very much, so. I think he's stupid. I don't think he researched anything he talks about. I think he really enjoys like getting people hyped up on stupid issues because he's like a pretty boy. Yeah, I could go on about what I dislike about things he does. But you know, that's just me. I think Hassan's content is just like, yeah, I think he has no problem like saying untrue things if it gets him like clicks and like not clicks and views, but like get people like oh yeah, like you're so woke kind of thing. Like he loves like stuff like that. But like doesn't really know anything about the stuff he's talking about. He doesn't really understand policy that much. He doesn't understand how like legal issues work. I don't know. He really gets off on just calling people like fascist or like white supremacist like kind of vibes. And I'm like, all right, well, if that's like your best analysis of like issues going on, then you probably shouldn't be talking about them. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some stupid 21-year-old. 22? 21. How old are we? 21.
21.
21.
So, very much emphasize the stupid part, huh?
Yeah. I feel so old because everyone who comes into my Twitch channel is like, oh, I didn't realize you were 21. And now I just stopped believing that I'm fucking 21. Because I'm like, everyone just comes into my Twitch channel and I'm like, yeah, I'm 21. And they're like, you're 21? I'm like, do I come across as old?
When I was looking at Toys R Us, my older coworkers didn't know how, in their words, young I was until I shaved my beard.
I mean, that's kind of
really
true.
weird.
You got a baby face without the beard, bro.
Yeah, and that was real weird because like they like never thought I was at the time 19, 20.
Yeah, that's okay. I worked in a fucking engineering lab and I was like 16 to 18, and no one fucking knew for a while. That's why I dated a
Yeah.
24-year-old.
Oh,
Damn.
oh, I fucked that up.
That's okay. I fucked up. Don't. God damn it. Okay, whatever. I'm screwing that game. We're starting again.
Bro, I was about to die because I fucked up the One Piece.
I think Destiny is a great place to go for debate that doesn't research debate lore, that doesn't reach debate lord style debate. Yeah, I think he debates in a way that like can actually move people and like understand people and like bring people. Like, I really like Destiny's like content. I think he researches the stuff he talks about. He really deeply analyzes the positions he holds, which is something I like admire, and it's something that I've like tried to do more, especially over the last couple years. And it was something like the reason I found Destiny's content interesting is because at the time that I found him, it was a time when I was already like starting to think more about my positions, and I'm like, why do I hold the positions I hold? And like I was already doing that type of thing, and then I stumbled upon his stream, and he was like talking about something like that, and I was like, oh, there's actually like people who like talk about stuff like this, and I thought that was really cool. And so like I really liked his stream because it seemed like it was something like that was super appealing to me in that sense. But that's why I like his content, because I think he engages with most people in good faith, and it makes people like, you know, actually like reach across the aisle, which I know a lot of people hate, like that idea of like, oh, like reach across the aisle. It's like, well, it's probably a good thing though. We're still in a world where we live with people we have to reach across the aisle with.
Sometimes you have to go around the aisle to find the chips you actually want.
Exactly.
Sometimes they're just not the chips you want, and then you're out of luck.
I hate when that happens.
Uh-huh. I'd be really into like dill chips, cause I love dill. And like Old Dutch makes this creamy dill chips, and specifically the baked version is really good. But most
I
times they don't
love
have
a
them.
good baked chip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dang, I only had two of the same pieces. That's fucked. God damn it. No. Wait. Oh, that's why I had that fucking piece. There we go. I feel like my chat is either yelling at me or agreeing with me right now. I don't know which one it is. I just see comments going while I'm playing this game.
These cucumber chips, I've looked at them, but I'm like, what can they taste like?
Oh, okay, we're talking about chips, thank God.
Oh, what did you do?
I don't know, sometimes when I talk about politics stuff, it's like my chat either really hardcore agrees with me or like hardcore disagrees. When I talk about like streamers I like. It's hit and miss. Oh, it's Michelle, that's why. Okay, makes sense. The right and center love Hassan, just not for the reasons Hassan would like. They think he's ignorant to the point of being comical. He's like someone they can like use as like, look how stupid your side is, because they can hold Hassan up as like this like big Twitch streamer, because he's like the biggest left-wing Twitch streamer, which is like the shitty part is like because he gets used so much by the right wing to like, look how stupid your points are, look how dumb your people are. It's like, no, this is like the worst advocate we have. Do you like Bill Maher? Yeah, I like Bill Maher. I enjoy his like skits, like, or like his segments most of the time. Not everything he says I agree with, but like I like a lot of his stuff. I think he's interesting. I also like Destiny says the one thing no one will ever admit during a conversation. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's like the big thing is like to be able to engage in a way that like you can like admit when you're, or like somebody who can change their opinion, because he's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe. Like he'll like have that conversation with people and then be like, okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong, or like maybe that's something I need to think about more. And I think that's like kind of cool is like when people can do that. There's some people who just, they'll never admit they're wrong though, and I think that's like sometimes the problem is like people don't, which it's a hard thing to do. It's just like it's one of those things that's shitty when it comes to like politics. You have to be able to do that, and a lot of people don't know how to do that, of just saying like, oh yeah, maybe this is something I need to think about more. Yeah, but I think he's like decently good at doing that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Why do I always build up these goddamn fucking towers? Shit, son of a bitch. Okay,
The university
fucked
buildings.
it. Fucked it.
So fresh, so yummy. Like what?
Like cukes. What the?
Cukes?
Are those the tiny cucumbers? Are cukes tiny? I don't want to look it up because I feel like porn's gonna come up if I type in cukes. Yeah, he talks about all the time how you can admit you don't know or you don't have a strong opinion on something that isn't wrong to do. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. I really like his like segments lately where he's talked about like it feels like everyone needs to have an opinion on everything. Like if you're just like an average like famous person and people will ask you like what's your opinion on like trans issues, what's your opinion on white privilege, it's like not everyone needs like an opinion on every issue. Like most people in the society don't have like enough information or enough like research or like look into these like issues in depth enough to have like a well thought out opinion. To just say like, you know what, I don't know shouldn't be like a moralized statement, because like a lot of people are like, oh, you don't know because you don't care, like you don't care to know about our issues, you don't give a shit about minorities. And it's like that's usually not the case. Most people just don't know how to like look into the stuff. People don't think it's like that big of a thing. Like most people just aren't exposed to this as much. And like if you know, happen to be one of those people who stumbles upon it, like us fucking losers on the internet who like to talk about politics, like it's super cool, but like most people aren't like that. And that is totally fine. And you don't need to have a political opinion on everything. Not everything requires your input, especially if you're unaware of what the, you know, full extent of a situation is.
Yeah.
It's okay to say you don't know. I've been tempted to email Destiny to have like conversations about this, but I'm terrified of going in front of a big audience, I think. I like my tiny little like audience that I have like in my little tiny corner of the internet here. Um, but I would
But what
like
if
to.
it makes your tiny corner a little bit bigger?
That's the scary part, because I think like there's a lot of people who will come in and like I will have to be like dealing with like lots of screaming people, and I like having like my chill conversations. But I don't know, maybe there'll be a day I do it, because I think there's people I could have conversations with. Like there's a person named Not So Erudite who goes on his stream a lot, and I would love to have conversations with her about like the mental health community and like how these things have like spiraled out of control. I do like that. Like I go on like there's actually like a stream I really recommend. They're like a smaller stream as well, but I've like gone on their stream. But they're bigger than me, but they're super good, and they're like two psychology like they're both like have their masters in psychology. They're like well trained, and they talk about like issues in a really like healthy way, and I really like them. And it's Psychotrist. I'll try to link them. I've been on there. I think I've linked there. If you join my Discord, you can definitely find their link, because I've like linked to them before, because when I was on their channel. But they're really cool in the way they talk about stuff, and I've had like good conversations with them about like political, social, and mental health issues. Mental health is another thing that I was like super passionate about, but it's really hard to talk about the internet without, I think, like getting really into really touchy subjects. Oh my god, what did I? Oh,
Oh.
I kept pressing the wrong button.
What if you're the Grinch and Destiny is the perfect little girl to make your heart 3 times larger, but you won't know that until it happens?
Because to be fair, as much as like I love Destiny, he is like the most heartless, cold son of a bitch that I've ever met. Like he's me on steroids, Rams.
Yeah, maybe he isn't a little girl.
No, not really. He has like the stripper name of like a 18-year-old.
Oh.
That's like his like whenever he talks to conservatives will be like, why did you pick like a stripper name as your like Twitch name? And he's like, I don't know.
So what are you gonna say when they ask you why you pick a Star Wars name?
Because Star Wars is cool and I like Star Wars. How about that?
Maybe he likes strippers.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I don't know. Look, I picked my Star Wars name when I was like 8 years old and picked up my Minecraft game, and I was obsessed with Star Wars and Captain Rex, and I was like, I want to be him, so I'm going to be him in my video game. And I was very happy with my decision, obviously, because I kept the name until now as well for my Twitch channel. So that's how we got here. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. How do you do it? Yeah, I think his videos, they're great, where he talks about example, everyone thinks you need an opinion on every random Colorado trans bill in existence. Yeah, that's the thing. So for me, like, I like having opinions on those things, because a lot of my streams are like going over like legal bill passings and stuff, like going over like bills that are passing or court trials and all that type of stuff. I love legal stuff. I'm a criminology student. I might go into law future in my life, but like I love crime and criminology and law is like things that I'm like super passionate about. And that was like the original idea for my stream. I wanted to do politics and like lean heavily towards crime stuff, which I do. I do like talk about like how do we fix crime issues? How do we fix socioeconomic issues? Like how do these things interplay? What bills are going through? Why are these bills good? Why are these bills not good? What are the outcomes of these bills? Like, what do I think these like? What do I think the interpretations of these bills could be? Like, I love stuff like that because I'm just a I'm a legal nerd. I like it. I enjoy it. I think it's interesting. I'm not like super.
Nerd.
Yeah, I'm not super skilled in it, and I would never claim to be like some expert of like I know law better than anybody else because I don't. I'm like a student, right? But I think it's like interesting to talk about from like a layman's perspective or like someone who's like mildly educated on these stuff. That's what I like to do a lot of. But I also wouldn't expect like every person I ever meet to like understand like what these bills are and be like, you need to have an opinion on this because they're important issues. It's like, no, I think they're important. I will focus on them because I enjoy focusing on them. I think it's good for like people who like talk about these things like to like understand what they're talking about. Ah, I fucked up. Go in. Go in the hole. Go in the hole. Go in the hole.
Oh,
Sorry. Got a little touchy there.
oh no, I failed.
I won!
We're
That's a
just not
first.
doing it.
I think it's great when people care about legality and law, talk legality and law, but most people don't and they don't need to and have a strong... Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we just expect, I think, most people in society now to have, like, really, like, strong opinions about everything or, like, know everything that's happening socially and politically. And it's just not reality for most people. It's because we think, like, because we have Twitter and social media now, it's like, oh, you know these things are happening and like you won't even like look into it because you don't want to like do the work to be educated because you don't care about people. And it's like, no, it's like most people just don't have time or like the energy or the effort to like look into these things 24/7, and that's okay. We apply way more malice to like stuff like I don't like know about these issues and I don't know enough to like be involved in these conversations. Oh, I fucked up. And we attribute a lot of malice to like an opinion like that just because I think we like now expect everyone to be so educated on these issues because they are so like widely talked about. But just because they're like widely talked about and widely addressed doesn't mean like that everyone knows exactly what's going on at all times, right?
It's
Or
also
even
what I feel like when people are always like, "Oh, why would you say this insensitive thing or this or that?" And there's like some people don't know where the world's at right now,
yeah,
or where you
exactly.
want the world to be at. Not everybody's living on the internet.
I'm good at Tetris. Hello, Chuo. Welcome. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks when we like treat people like terribly because like they're not where like we expect them to be at. And it's like when people
Yeah,
make stupid jokes on the internet, it's like I don't know if I would apply like so much malice and be like, "Oh, you're racist." Cuz like a lot of people just don't know that like stupid jokes like that are considered racist now. Right? And
yeah.
like I don't even think all of like stupid jokes that we make are racist. I like or like I like you can make a race centered joke without it being racist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like you can make funny
Because there's
jokes
a
about
intent to
race.
it, to everything behind it, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, that's the other thing. People don't want to take intent into like anything anymore. Like people are like intent doesn't matter, outcomes matter. And it's like, well, no, I think intent matters a little bit.
Well, the outcome is on you then.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's a lot. Like, if everyone be like, "Oh, outcome matters," well, yeah. So, okay, what are you gonna do about it? You're the outcome. They said it. Now what? Now you're gonna be
Yeah.
mad. Now you're gonna
But they
make that
think like,
thing.
oh, the outcome is like, oh, you're contributing to like societal problems and like, this is like a bigger issue than like just like, right? Like that like they'll apply like a larger like scale.
Yeah, but it's only as big as the issue as you make it. And like some things, that's not true for everything. But some things are just as big as you make it.
Yeah. How to be hardcore racist on Twitch and be white, and when something happens, say race was not involved. That's pretty much it. I mean, if you say something that like was clearly race involved and say it wasn't like race involved, then that's like a little stupid and shitty. But like, I wouldn't call you racist for it either. Like, it would just be like, okay, your analysis of this is probably pretty wrong. It's like the Buffalo shooting. Like, people were trying to play that off as like if it wasn't like a racist attack. You're probably a little bit stupid because it was
Wait,
pretty.
people were.
Yeah,
Didn't the dude straight up say it was?
yeah.
Damn.
I don't know. People are like too dumb to engage. Or people don't want to look like people on their side believe things like that, right? Because it looks really bad on like certain people to like say like, yeah, this was like a racist shooting, and he was like spurred on by like sentiment of like the right wing. But it's like I think the like big thing is like we don't apply that to like all right wing people are like racist or like would like commit school mass shootings because of it. It's just that like, you know, some of the things that you might promote, if you're not careful in the way that you talk about them, are going to lead to like racist outcomes. Like if you're talking about great replacement shit, like you're stupid, but B, like you know that can lead to like negative, harmful outcomes now.
Mm-hmm.
Or you actually probably should have known that before the shooting ever happened. If you encourage people to say like they're trying to like violate, like they're putting in policy to like systemically like get rid of your people, and you need to fight back, then yeah, you're probably, you know, spurring on some pretty violent action or like violent thoughts in people's minds.
Yeah. That's crazy. People like the dude said himself, and people are still like, no, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like no one wants to like. It was like it's like one of those things where if somebody in your group like acts in a really bad way, you never want to like take on those actions and be like, oh well, like this was because of something like we did or we said,
Yeah.
right? Like, which is understandable, especially in like the current political climate where like people want to take that and be like all conservatives are like that, right? And like that's like where like the shitty part comes in is where it's like that's why no like conservative probably wants to own it because it's like yeah, like some of our rhetoric probably led to some of the stuff is like, well, if you own that, then you're gonna own like now you're gonna own like everything else that people say about you, and
You
then you
open
like
up Pandora's box there.
yeah. Why do I keep making dumb fucking moves by accident, bro? I hate it here. God damn it. My brain just can't think fast enough to like do the thing that I want to do. I'm like, where do I want to put this again?
You gotta make your brain think faster.
No,
Yep.
my brain thinks slow.
Cocaine.
First assignment of the semester though, and I'm at the top of my fucking class. Let's go. I'm in a
Noise.
philosophy class right now, and I got like a grade on the assignment, on the first assignment we had to turn in, and I was like, oh, I wasn't sure if I like did well because I was like, oh, I didn't like I missed like I wasn't enrolled in the class till the second week, so I like missed the first class where he went over like what the assignment guidelines would be, and like the information on the syllabus wasn't like super strong, so I like kind of just went with like what was on the syllabus, but I was like, okay, I might not like be on track to like what they actually wanted. And then I got the grade back, and I got like the top grade in the class, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. I didn't even know what was happening, and I still got the top grade, you fucks.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid fucks.
Stupid fucks. Yeah, no, sorry. Oh, god damn it. And now who's a stupid fuck? It's me.
Someone from your class randomly found your Twitch stream is watching this right now.
Can you imagine? I
Small
mean, someone from
world.
our high school is in that class with me, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's one of those verbal looks before you leave. If you don't look at the obvious facts but try to jump down a narrative pre-made, it won't end well. Yeah, it's like when we lay out like a full like pathway of like, if you accept this, then you're accepting everything after that. It's like you can't set people up to like have that issue. But for any conservatives who are still saying that this wasn't a racist attack, I think you're stupid if you would like even like suggest that, right? Like I'll give blame to like both sides here. It's like left-wing people shouldn't be saying like this is like all conservatives believe, and or that like even the idea of the Great Replacement being like a mainstream conservative belief is like really stupid, right? Because it's probably not. But like if you're gonna treat every conservative like that, then like you're setting yourself up to like have these people like hate you because you're gonna be like, oh well, you guys all like you're all like race like just like the shooter, and it's like, well, no, we're not. Most of us don't believe in stuff like that, but it's like you won't take our word for it, so. But, yeah, I don't know. Everyone wants to make the opposition look like the worst thing in the world. It's the same reason that, like, I don't know, conservatives, like, pedo jacket, like, the whole LGBT community at times. But, different issues. I always like brag on the left a lot, but that's just because like again I care more about the left than the right. Like if the right wants to do stupid things and make stupid decisions and say stupid things, I don't care. Like make yourself look stupid. It's better for my side. But if my side looks stupid, then well now you're like interfering with progress that I actually want, right? So don't take any of my ratting on like left the left to like make you think that I like think the right's any better. They're not. I just care more about the left, so I'll talk about the like issues with the left. Maybe I should do some more right. I usually when I talk about bills and like legal stuff, I'll like be more like critical of the right wing because a lot of the bills that are actually getting passed are like more like by the right and like things that the right are doing that I like disagree with. Whereas like when I talk about social issues, I'll usually talk more about the left. Conservatives are gaslighted by left constantly, and they are correct for about 2% of the conservatives. The conservatives are gaslighted by the far left constantly and are correct for about 2% of conservatives. Yeah, like if you're saying the left is only right about 2% of conservatives, I would agree with that because like it's a pretty fringe like group that's like
I think
that.
it's gonna be our last game.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get off after this because it's like 1:30 a.m. and I got class tomorrow. Bad faith in politics, yeah, 100%. Well, just like that was like the whole thing is like no one really wants to engage like properly. No one wants to like have their ideas challenged. It was like the guy who was in my chat earlier and like just like pieced it after I like disagreed with him on his like when I like told him that his ideas were stupid because they were. I could have been nicer about it, but like student debt forgiveness. I'm sorry, it's not a socioeconomic issue. It's a dumb like policy that like you guys want pushed through because it sounds really good. But fuck. Again, what do I know? I'm just some dumb 22-year-old on the internet. Don't listen to me.
21.
Fuck, 21. We're almost there. I'm just aging myself up, okay? It's how I feel on the inside.
Oh, I'm an old man already. You got white in my beard. It's so sad.
It do be like that. I want to be gray, but like I have a wedding this summer, and like I don't know if any of you guys know Indian people. Indian weddings are crazy. I'm like learning a whole dance routine, and I had a 3-hour dance practice the other day, and I'm like, I'm fucking limping around like a goddamn grandma, bro. I like can't. I'm like I was a competitive dancer in high school. I did taekwondo for 9 years, and somehow I'm like actually broken after like a 3-hour like dance practice. What happened to me? I lost.
University.
Yeah. I mean, I still work out like since university. It's just like not as intensely
Yeah, but
as
then
I
you get
did
the
back in the
stress of
day.
university.
Yeah, it's just not as intense as I used to back in the day, and I'm like, I can't keep up with like how it used to be.
Hmm.
Tragedy, a travesty.
A Travis Scott.
It's a Travis Scott concert, one may say.
Hmm.
Oh no, I done did it to myself, bro. No. Oh fuck, there it is. Well, I mean, that's also a problem. Many people don't hold their side to a higher standard. Yeah, that's like pretty much it is. Like, you hold the other side to like a really high standard, and they like conservatives will like pedo jacket the fuck out of the LGBT community and say like, oh, they're like grooming children when like southern states are actively trying to like get laws passed for like younger age of consent to marriage. So like, I don't know. It's like everyone wants to like rag on the other side, but like, you know, most of the time you're doing dumb shit yourself. So. They're very racist conservatives. There just isn't that many of them. I think we had this conversation the other day. I would argue there's probably more racist people than you think. But that would come down to like if you're talking about like outright like really intense racism, it's probably not as common anymore. But like racist people and like people with like racist beliefs and like don't necessarily intend them is probably higher than you'd expect. But I don't know. I think that's all for tonight. I will try to be back in the next couple of days at some point. That's not it. I'll try to be back on maybe tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow. I guess it just depends on how much work I get done over the day. I got class, so yeah. This was a really good stream. Thank you all for hanging out and chatting. I love it. I love when people are in here and having good conversations. I appreciate it. If you're interested in following the stream, follow, obviously. Hit the follow button, but you can also join the Discord where you can suggest topics. Thank you for that follow. Yeah, I have a Discord where if you want to like suggest topics for stream in the future, like things you want me to talk about, like if there's certain political issues you want my opinions on, or like again bills and legal stuff like cases or whatever. If there's things you want me to like cover, I can like look into them. Like you can always send me like stuff like that on Discord, and I will try to cover it. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will try to be back hopefully in the next couple of days. But for now, good night.